Very good morning to all of you, and actually I'm a bit nervous to begin with and overwhelmed with the number of issues that you have raised out here. So I will get down there. My laptop is connected with this, and there's a PPT that I'll be showing you. So to begin with, I would say that what Sir was telling, that yes, we would like to know how it will be implemented. The process we would like to know step by step. But before that, we would like to know about the Act, the BEAR Act also, along with the Juvenile Justice Model Rules and the Adoption Regulations 2022, what they have told about adoption. Some definitions has to be discussed about what the role of the CWC is. If you do not know the background, the foundation, you would not know how to roll out the adoption process. So that will be discussed briefly, and then we would go on to the process and then the role of the DA. This is this thing, and I would start with a disclaimer that this is speaking on adoption. I am a part of the SARA board in the state of West Bengal, but we don't have very much to do about adoption, in the sense that we only attend the meetings and few issues we do discuss. But basically we have our Directorate of Child Rights and Trafficking. They look into the adoption process, and the district collectors, district magistrates in West Bengal. So with your permission, kind permission, I would like to go down there and start the PPT. Divide it into three parts. One is the pre-tea session, then we break for tea, and we are already late by 20 minutes, I'm looking at the watch, and then we get into the pre-lunch session, break for lunch, and then the post-lunch session. Okay? So we, like I was telling you, we would discuss about the relevant definitions related to the JJ Act, Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 as amended in 2021, and the Model JJ Rules of 2016 as amended in 2022. And also the definitions as per the Adoption Regulations 2022. I have tried to give as many definitions as possible. Then we get into the principles governing adoptions. There are three principles: role of CWC in adoption, procedures related to OAS children. Can you tell me what are the OAS stand for? OAS, often abandoned and surrendered children for adoption. Eligibility criteria for adoption both for children and for PACs, that is prospective adoptive parents. Adoption procedures for categories of PAPs, and then I have divided this again, the procedures, into 4 A, B, C and D. This is the tricky part actually. So this will go slowly pre-lunch. Resident Indians, that is in-country adoption, non-resident Indians, overseas citizen of India, cardholder, foreign PAPs, right? Then adoption of OCI, that is overseas citizen of India, cardholder or foreign national of Hague Adoption Convention ratified countries living in India. That is something I was reading up when I was reading up this. There is a difference between India's ratified to Hague, is part of the Hague Adoption ratified country. That is one way of looking at things they have done. The other is the non-Hague countries. There is a difference between the two. Then we get into adoption by Indian PAPs who are habitually the resident or having permanent residence of another country. Indian PAPs who are living outside India. Then procedure for adoption of children of a child from a foreign country by Indian citizen. It goes the other way. Then C is in-country relative adoption, inter-country relative adoption, adoption by step parent. That is again a bit different. Then procedure for children adopted under, like Sir was mentioning, Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act 1956 by parents who desire to relocate the child abroad, or inter-country adoption through HAMA, this OCI and this thing is PAP staying abroad. That is a bit like I was telling you, but will go slowly. And then role of DMs in the adoptive process. Now here it is district collector, I guess. And relevant schedules I have tried to put. While going through it, we will be discussing all the relevant schedules that we could give. There are 36 schedules, so there is no time to go through all the schedules, but I have tried to, as many as possible, I have tried to discuss out here. And then few advisories by CARA. From 1917, they have been giving advisories. Are you conversant with that? The CARA advisories, has it come to Sikkim? It has been issued to all the SARAs, to all the SARs and all the DCPUs throughout the country. 2017, 2018, 19 and 2020. So I have put that also. And if you want, I can share the link also. If you want, you can download them. Okay, I can do that. So now, who is an abandoned child? Under the Juvenile Justice Act, a child who is deserted by the biological adoptive parents or guardians who has been declared as abandoned by the committee after, committee means over here the Child Welfare Committee. And what is adoption? It means a process through which adopted child is permanently separated from the biological parents. So even if they go to court, after the adoption has been, the entire procedure has gone through, you must have seen, the Honorable Court, Apex Court has given, directions, has the other high courts have given direction, it will overrule. Means that is final, the adoption decree is final. So, and becomes lawful child of the adoptive parents with the rights, privileges and responsibilities that are attached to a biological child. So before that, all the procedure comes, because after that it becomes this thing, it cannot be reversed. In a sense, it will be reversed if the child is not adjusting with the parent. Then there can be a dissolution, okay, and there can be a disruption. Otherwise, no interference will take place. Adoption regulations is the regulations framed by the authority, and authority means out here Kara, and notified by the central government in respect of adoption. AFA, AFFA, AFA, I'll be telling this as AFA only, Authorized Foreign Adoption Agency. This is means a foreign social or child welfare agency that is authorized by the Kara on the recommendations of the central authority of the government department of that country, means the foreign country, for sponsoring the application of the NRI or the OCI cardholder or persons of Indian origin or foreign PAPs for adoption of a child in India. So just don't mind, I am going to give you all the notes. Just listen, okay? Just read this and listen. Whatever you are seeing out here, I will put it in a MS Word document and I will mail it. I will give it. I will try to give it tonight or tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Right? So now authority means Kara. Okay, Central Adoption Resource Authority, constituted under section 68 of the JJ Act. Best interest of the child, this is very important. Whatever we do regarding adoption, where a child is concerned, we have to take the best interest determination has to be done to ensure the fulfillment of the child's basic rights and needs, identity, social well-being, physical, emotional, intellectual development. Right? So child means a person who has not completed 18 years of age, and CNCP child, CNCP, a child in need of care and protection, that is declared by the CWC. So all these children who are going in for adoption, those who are abandoned, those who are surrendered, those who have parents who do not they are not willing to take the child, or take care of them, those are CNCP. Okay. So child legally fit for adoption means it's declared as such by the committee under section 38, and DM includes additional DM of the district. So additional DM also, if they are authorized by DM, they can give a child in adoption. We will come to that later on. So inter-country adoption means adoption of a child from India by NRI or a person of Indian origin or by a foreigner. So when we were getting the 2021 amended act, we were also worried along with the district collectors as to how they are going to perform, because everything the DM is going to do, all is done under the DM's signature, seal and signature. Then when we started going through this, we saw that a lot of delegation of duty has been done. At the DCPO level, the DCPO has a lot of responsibility on his and her shoulder to go through the documents that are required, the necessary documents for the verification for the DM to see and then get into the adoption hearing. So that is very important. After I finish up this, I will request our academy if they can give you the form. I'm sure they're giving you the book. So in the 2000 adoption rules 2022 regulations, you will find the forms. The forms are very important. So when you find time, go through the forms. The forms are very important because then you will come to know, because it cannot be yes, no and thank you, the forms. They have to be very authentic, all the things that are given. And they are giving an undertaking also. All of them are giving the SAR, the Specialized Adoption Agency, whatever documents they are giving an undertaking that everything is supposed to be true out here. So that also is in a form. So when you are giving that form and signing it, the SA is signing it, then you are liable. If anything goes wrong, the SA can be pulled up, pulled to court. You understand? So they have bound it very nicely. It is intertwined. The entire regulation has been intertwined. Now, no objection certificate is NOC for inter-country adoption is a certificate issued by the CARA. Okay? The NOC is this thing given by the CARA. NRI means it holds an Indian passport and presently residing abroad. Often means a person who is without biological or adoptive parents or legal guardian, and they have added this. A legal guardian who is not willing to take or capable of taking care of the child. That child will be declared as orphan. So overseas citizen of India means a person registered as under the Citizenship Act. There's a big story. I was reading up the difference between the OCI card holder and this thing, you know, how this came about, why this came about, but we don't have time for this, you know, this how this came about. So persons of Indian origin means a person any of whose lineal ancestors is or was an Indian national and who is presently holding a person of India origin card issued by the central government. Because they basically say that we are not Indian citizens, but our origin was in India, so we should get the benefits. So they get all the benefits except the political rights. They cannot vote, but they have got the benefits. When we come to this, you will see. But then the PAP means, this is very important, prospective adoptive parents. I will address them as PAP. Means a person or persons eligible to adopt a child as per the provisions of section 57. Relative means, this is important, you have this relative adoption. In relation to a child for the purpose of adoption under this act means paternal or aunt, uncle or aunt, maternal uncle or aunt, paternal grandparent or maternal grandparent. So sir was asking me something, you have something else, issuing of COI. You have a notification by the government, Sikkim government. I was not aware of that. So I've just come to know about it. So that will only hold good, I think so, from my understanding, that where a relative adoption takes place, already it's taken care of. A person has to be from Sikkim and has to be a Sikkimese, because paternal aunt or uncle aunt, maternal uncle aunt, paternal grandparent or maternal grandparent, they only can come into relative adoption. Nobody beyond that. So that thing is already taken care of. They cannot be beyond Sikkimese, is it? So I think that is why they have added this. So state agency means SARA. Specialized adoption agencies means SA. Okay. Surrendered child means who is relinquished by parent or guardian to the committee on account of physical, emotional, social factors beyond their control and declared as such by the committee. So where surrendered child comes into this thing, that question comes, there you will see the process, how the process takes place. Then the CWC plays a very important role when surrendered child comes. Now let us get into the definitions as per the Adoption Regulation 2022. Adoption Committee. So you must be having an adoption committee out here also. It means a committee comprising of authorized office bearer of the SA, 1, visiting doctor or a medical officer from the government hospital. We have our doctor, this thing as from I think chief medical officers we have out here today attending the program.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you are also part of the adoption committees out here. Are you part of the adoption committee?
Yes.
Okay. One official from the DCPU, third member, and also include a representative of the CCI. So as we get into it, you will find that that will be a recommendation. I have been talking to my contemporary, SARA members of other states also. So we are thinking that the adoption committee could also have, you have a medical officer. Why not a psychologist, a child psychologist, or a psychiatrist? Because this is very important, because they do the matching. The parents are eligible or not, the child will match or not. So in that we get varieties of children. We are dealing with a psychology of a human being, right? A group of human beings we are dealing with. So when we are dealing with human beings, I think the psychology part should come into it. So it is a suggestion that I would be going back and giving the same suggestion to West Bengal also. When we have a SARA meeting, I would be talking to our principal secretary about it. Child legally free for adoption means a child declared as such by Child Welfare Committee. And then as in Schedule 1 of the adoption regulation, whenever I say schedule, that means this is adoption regulations. When I say rule, it will get into model rule. CSR, Child Study Report, this is very important in Schedule 2. So these things has to be, we should go through once. Cluster of state means the purpose of adoption means zones or regions as defined by the Government of India from time to time. Designated portal means, this is again very important, Carings portal, must be aware of it. Child Adoption Resource Information and Guidance System, Carings, or any other portal to be notified by the government from time to time, designed for facilitating, guiding and monitoring the adoption program. Now we have other portals also in JJ Act. Track Child Portal, CWC must be aware of it, DCPU must be aware of it. Track Child Portal, Track the Missing Child Portal. Do you upload your all your the data into this thing, Track Missing Child Portal or Khoya Paya Portal? Are you aware of the portal? CWC, yes?
Yes, we are aware.
Though we know of the portal, but it's not functioning.
I see. So this is very important because the portal regulates and controls everything. But the caring portal is working, hopefully. That is working. Carings is working for the adoption. Otherwise adoption will be zero out here. Adoptions you cannot roll out. Because everything is done online now. So that we can monitor. The portal is important because we can monitor. Otherwise we have got cases also in West Bengal, rest of India. All the fudging has been done. Pardon me CWC, it has been done by CWC. Pardon me DCPU, it has been by DCPU. Pardon me SA, it has been done by SA. And children has been sold and then trafficked. That is the reason portal is very important. Everything, because you cannot change the timings and all in portal. You cannot change all those things. Once it is there, right? So that thing has to roll out. So that portals are also there. So that is why as we go, you will see what adoption regulation Kara has done. The central government has done. They have told designated portal. They did not say carings, because what they want to do eventually, carings portal, Track the Missing Child portal, Khoya Paya portal, all of them will be integrated together. And they do not know what name they are going to give. They might give it Mission Vatsalya also. You must be aware of Mission Vatsalya that was rolled out. So it might be named that. That is why they have not decided till now. They are telling it designated portal. So adoption means basically it is carings, and CWC also they would be putting in the data into Track Missing Child portal in Form 18. I am going to get into that also. So just don't get overwhelmed with what I am saying, because I myself was getting overwhelmed when I was doing this PPT. So I will be giving notes, just take in as it comes, okay? And then while you are going through the notes, you will get the recall factor will come to you. Habitual residence means ordinary residence of a person for at least a period of 1 year. Hague Adoption Convention means Hague Convention on Protection of Child and Cooperation in respect of inter-country adoption. I could go through only 2 articles, Article 5 and Article 17. It's a beautiful thing, this convention, the articles that has been given, and India is a signatory to that. It was relevant, so I went through 2 articles and I will be talking about the articles also. Home study report means a report containing details of the PAP, which shall include socio-economic status, family background, description of home and atmosphere therein, and health status of the parents in Schedule 7. It will be done by the home study will be done by the social worker of SA or DCPU or SARA. So now, in-country adoption means adoption of a child by a citizen of India residing in India. Medical examination report. I will just now, NOC means certificate issued by the authority. Authority means out here Kara, for permitting the child to be placed in adoption with foreign or overseas citizen of India card holder or NRIs. Okay. Older child means, just keep this in mind, older child means child above 5 years of age. This older child has been introduced out here because of the consent part. Counseling, consent, because of that it has been introduced. Pending adoption means those adoption matters where the PAPs are already registered for adoption who have accepted the referral of a child from a SA before the expiry, suspension, withdrawal of recognition of such SA. Then immediately the DCPU takes over. If the SA has gone to this extent and then the expiry has come, the renewal hasn't happened, then the DCP will take over immediately. The pre-adoption foster care means temporary custody of a child given to PAP till the adoption order has been granted by the DM. Special needs child means a child suffering from any disability as provided in the Rights PWD Act given in schedule. This is 18 and then schedule 3 part E of adoption regulations. Now there are a lot of acts also in adoptions. JJ Act, right? PWD Act, correct? Then we have POXO if there is a sexual offence done. Then we have the IPC also. So all this, there are a lot of other acts also related to this act. So PWD Act is very important. One has to go through that also. We have HAMA also. So it is not one singular legislation. A lot of other interrelated legislations are also there. Step parent means a parent who is married to the father, mother of the child, or who is not that child's biological father or mother. Step parent adoption means that person becomes a legal parent of that child through sponsor child through adoption. Now, what are the fundamental principles? Like in JJ Act, Juvenile Justice Act, when we deal with children, we have fundamental general principles in section 3. There are 16 principles. We have to work according to the principles. Similarly, in adoption also we have 3 principles. What are they? Like I was telling, the best interest of the child has to be looked into. Always. We are not here to look into the best interest of the PAP. Have it very clear. It is the best interest of the child we are looking into. Because I work for children, it is always very clear to me because I have seen disruptions, I have seen dissolutions, I have seen children being thrown back into the CCI or into the SA by the PAPs. They do it. And you cannot imagine the amount of trauma that child goes through. They are scarred for life. So whenever you are getting into it, the best interest of the child is of paramount consideration. Whom we are giving to, are they counseled or not, are the PAPs ready or not to parent that child. That is why I was requesting our medical officer sirs to also add on the psychologist, okay, to look into the psychology of the parents, look into the psychology of the children who is getting into adoption. Preference shall be given to place the child in adoption of Indian citizen. That is fair enough, with due regard to the principal placement of the child in their own socio-cultural environment. Over here, if you say yes, that notification of Sikkim that has come 2015, that too for the best interest of the child, if the child has to go out, the child will go out. But if you can place the child in Sikkim, because they have the specific culture, milieu and all those things. I am not very conversant with it, but I know that yes, it is different. So maybe you try to put back the child into this system again, but taking into consideration the best interest of the child. Okay? Then all applications for adoption shall go through the designated portal, and confidentiality of the same shall be maintained by the authority. Nothing is going to come out to the public. What has gone? It is the discretion of the PAP to tell the child that the child has been adopted. Discretion means they have to say now. Now it has come that they have to say. But the counseling will take place, how the child will come to know, at what juncture the child should come to know. All these things the social worker would be inducing because they are being trained in this now. Now the role of CWC, mandatory reporting section 32 is very important because any individual or a police officer or any functionary of any organization, nursing home, hospital, maternity home, which finds or takes charge or is handed over a child or appears or claims to be abandoned, lost, child who appears or claims to be an orphan without family support, abandoned child you get in hospitals, they give in birth and they push away. Do you have Palna system out here? Palna?
In some hospitals.
We do have. Okay. What about in the SARS?
SARS they have.
You have. Okay. So that is being regulated also. You know how the Palna regulates, do you? How the Palna should be regulating? Okay. Okay, so now there are two things. One is giving a Palna. The other is awareness of the public who wants to put the child in the Palna instead of putting in the drain or the roadside. You understand? So that awareness has to be built also, that linkages has to be there also. It cannot be only we put the panla out there. The panla is usually what I have seen, the panla is there, there's a bell out there. So after putting the child, the bell rings, you do not come immediately because you give that time for the person to move away. That means 1 or 2 minutes. It should not be that you wait for, that I said it should not come immediately, you wait for half an hour. By that time anything can happen to the child. So it is just 1 or 2 minutes time for that person to move away. Because obviously they are putting in the parlor because they don't want the person to be identified. So that things has to be trained also. So now within 24 hours, excluding the time necessary for journey, this information goes to whom? Childline services, 2 months it's still on, the childline. After that, integration is taking place now. Childline is integrating now with the state government, right? So nearest police station to the child welfare committee, DCPU, so many options, or hand over the child to the CCI. A person can go to a CCI also if they are aware of it and hand over. But the best thing is they know the police station, everybody knows the police station. They go and hand over the child to the police station. Okay? This information shall be uploaded. See, now that this thing is not working, how do you get the chain? How do you do a check and balance? Because immediately the system comes to know. All in the system comes to know that a person has been given, a child has been given, a child has gone missing, a child has been abandoned, an orphan child has come into the system. So this uploading has to be done by the committee or the DCP or the CCI, as the case may be, on a portal as may be specified. So what has been specified right now? Track the missing child portal or Khoya Paya, right? Now comes, after that what happens? An orphan and abandoned child received by a CCI, including a SA, directly without the involvement of CWC, shall be produced before the CWC, right? In Form 17. You can't just come and produce the child. Form 17 has to be filled up. There is short detail about the child is given out there. And or the rules with a copy submitted by the CCI or the SA. 2 things can happen. Straight, it goes to the police station, from police station the production before the CWC in Form 17. Or if the child goes to the child means the child is found rescue in the CCI, means child care institution, and SA, either of the 2. So from there the production takes place before the CWC. Is it clear? 2 ways the child can come before the CWC. There are 2 things. SA means a child below 6 years of age will be kept in a SA, Specialized Adoption Agency. Child above 6 years will go to a CCI, Child Care Institution. That is why I am talking about 2 agencies, 2 things out here. If a child is under treatment, and it might so happen, the child is very ill, first the priority is survival of the child, treatment of the child goes to the hospital. But the information should go to CWC. It should not lag. The CWC will visit the hospital to visit the child, to look after the child. If inquiry is pending, CWC will issue an order in Form 18 for a short placement or interim care of the child to a CCI or SA. Okay? Now, in this Form 18 you will find the last part, it says upload the information in track child stroke Khoya Paya. So it is violation of the act that is happening in Sikkim now. It's not happening. So what are you going to do about this? Tell me. You are DCPU, CWC member. So anybody from the DCPU out here? DCPU? Yes? So what are you going to do about it? The sirs are out here, your district collectors are out here. So what should we do about this? This is very important because the main link in the chain is being broken. If the portal is not working, the portal has to work.
We are using another portal. It's called Bal Swaraj portal, and then we are using the
Bal Swaraj is very recent, isn't it?
Portal.
Pardon?
Regarding the designated portal, we received
Yes.
instruction to wait for the portal to be activated because as of now, the designated portal under Mission Vatsala is still not ready by the ministry. That is what was recently told to us in the training held by Lipstick.
Ministry is ready because we are already working, because West Bengal was the pioneer of Track the Missing Child portal, and that got replicated by central government. And the Khoya Paya, after that, they said either Khoya Paya or Track the Missing Child portal. Bal Swaraj is very recent.
Yes.
In COVID times, I think the Bal Swaraj came into being, right? Okay, anyways. But please do upload in the portal, it's very important. So then what happens on admission of the child by the order of CWC, the details of the photograph shall be entered in the designated portal in the prescribed format by the SA within 3 days of the CWC order, and every 6 months they'll be updating it. Then what happens in the case of orphan, abandoned, surrendered child, older child admitted in the CCI on the basis of the order, now in the SA they will be uploading it, and in the CCI the DCPU will upload it. Don't ask me why. I have been asking this myself. In the SA officials will be uploading it. But in the CCI it has been said in the adoption regulations the DCPU unit will upload it. So maybe the SA uploads it and then DCPU unit oversees it. Maybe that can be done. Then 3 categories of children like I have been talking about, orphan, abandoned and surrendered category. They will be declared legally free for adoption by CWC. Otherwise they cannot get into adoption. The first stage is getting into the system. It should not go miss. They cannot be sold off from the hospitals. Then the charges will come against them. Adoption, they have violated that adoption regulations. We have JJ Act, offences against children, that will roll out then.
Ma'am, I had one question regarding the regulation 6 that you were. Ma'am, if you could kindly go to the previous page.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, in Regulation 6, Sub-Regulation 7, it said that for tracing out the biological parents or the legal guardians, the child of the committee, after taking into account the risk factors and in the best interest of the child.
Coming to that, I'm coming to it.
So I am
coming to it. I'll be coming to this. Okay, my next slide will be that. Yeah. So orphan, abandoned, and so I'll take the question then. Orphan, abandoned and surrendered, there are the 3 categories. Legally free for adoption has to be done by CWC. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force, a child of a mentally retarded parents or an unwanted child of victim of sexual assault, such child may be declared free for adoption by committee by following the procedures under the Act. So when we come to it, you will find out why this has been written out here. You or me, anybody who is not qualified, we cannot just say the child's parents are mentally retarded. Or, this thing, victim of sexual assault, unwanted child, a victim, the unwanted child means it will go into surrender category. So it has to follow the rules and regulations. The Act has to be followed, okay? The other thing that we are into a quandary, the Act talks about mentally retarded parents, doesn't talk about mentally ill. So we have got in SARS, children, they are growing up, their mothers are, unwed mother or, single mother. They are mentally ill. For years together, they are declared as mentally ill. They are in the mental hospital, right? But if you go to PWD Act, they cannot be put up for adoption because any day they can get back. They'll be okay. They should be looked after by the relatives. They don't have any relatives. So what do? Should we declare them as abandoned? What do we do? So we are getting back to the Kara. I have through this thing, in Sara, I have picked up this topic. I have spoken to my contemporaries also. This issue you might be facing in Sikkim also. Mentally ill. That has not been addressed. They are talking about mentally retarded people. The decision to declare an orphan, abandoned, surrendered child as legally free for adoption shall be taken at least by 3 members of the committee, and the committee shall inform the state agency and the authority regarding the number of children. This I am coming to this. This is very important part. Adoption related reporting is very important and DM plays a very important role out here. The Child Welfare Committee shall furnish the data relating to 2 types of data they give. Data relating to children declared legally free for adoption, the number of them. Cases pending for decision, one is already declared and one is cases that are pending. Online they give it on monthly basis to SARA with assistance of DCPU, right? This information should also be shared with District Magistrate in Form 16A. This has been introduced in the Model JJ Amended Rules, JJ Rules 2022, 16A. The DM, after review of this report in Form 16A submitted by the CWC, shall take necessary measures to expedite the process of adoption of children declared legally free for adoption. What happens in Bengal? I see that every month our DM, they have a meeting with the CWCs
the CWC's members with the DCPO, all the SARs and the CCI for adoption. And each and every this thing that they have, the case that they have, they discuss. Why the online process is still the child is LFA has not been done. So I had sat through one meeting, I saw that usually the paper publication doesn't go. The delay is in that because the CWC is confused as to should we declare this as abandoned. CWC themselves, they go tell the police to go and find out about the mother. There is no need. Why should you waste time? Each day is important for the child. So you do a paper publication if the child is abandoned or the child is an orphan. For surrender you don't need it. Right? So you have to follow the act. That is why knowing the act is very important. Knowing the rules are very important. So now Rule 44 says children who are not being adopted after being declared LFA may be eligible for foster care. Okay? This we are going to come. That is another issue, foster care. Procedure relating to adoption. Now, what does the rule say? Adoption Regulation Rules 2022 say about the proceeding related to orphan and abandoned child. First thing is tracing I think this is the one you are talking about. Rule 7. Tracing out the biological parents or legal guardians, the CWC after taking into account the risk factors and the best interest of the child. These two things. Okay. What are they going to do? They are going to advertise. They have advertised in the national newspaper. What we say, national newspaper and also in the local newspaper. Right? See, you are putting up in the portal. You are putting up in the portal. In the Bal Swaraj portal you are putting up. Right? Are you following me? What I am telling you? Right? You will tell me the question or should I explain? What? I will listen to you first. Tell me. Yes.
You can continue, I'll ask you.
This is what you wanted to ask?
No, my question was, we had a case yesterday.
Yeah.
Wherein the child is in custody of the foster parents since she was 3 years old, and the biological parents cannot be traced. Now the child is already 12 years old and she wanted to adopt the child, but the biological parents cannot be traced. So as per this regulation, we have to follow the procedure of the abandoned child for the particular child. But the child is already 12 years old, and it will be quite traumatic for her to see her advertisement of being abandoned in the newspaper. So having considered that factor, the risk factor there, can CWC give an order to the dispute not to advertise for the said child? Because the risk factor and the best interest of the child has to be considered by CWC. So that was my question.
I know we also get these ones. We do get these ones, But, see, tell me, what will be the risk factor? If they advertise, what is going to happen?
The child will be traumatized because
Why will the child be traumatized? If they are advertising,
she's a teenager and
you think, the family is not being traced. The family is not being traced.
They have abandoned the child.
They have abandoned the child?
Yes.
So, and after they abandon the child, that means it will get into the abandoned category.
Yes.
And we won't say foster care, that means the child is being looked after by them.
Yes.
It was not given legally to them.
Yes.
So we won't say it is foster care.
Yes. So.
But, if you go into an advertisement, a short advertisement, it is not much, it's just for a few months. I am telling you. What is the risk factor for the child? Tell me. The thing is, why I am stressing on this. If you give the advertisement, it will go maximum for maybe, we will get, it's above how many, he or she is 12 years old now, right? So it will go maximum for 3 months, not more than that. Plus 3 days, that is 33 days. 3 months and 33 days.
That will not be in the best interest of the child.
Why? That is why I am asking you why. You have to answer me this
like
question.
You said earlier, we have to consider the psychological health and well-being of the child.
Tell me, explain to how it will affect the psychology of the child.
In the world of social media nowadays, the child can see that she's an abandoned child, and it's quite traumatic for the child. It cannot be explained in words how traumatic it will be when she will see her photo being advertised, especially in social media. Her friends will know. And she's been raised since she was 3 years old by the parents. She calls them as her own mother and father. So it's like...
Okay, now what do you want to do?
So that is what I was asking.
No, just a minute. What do you want to do? You want to carry on like this and the foster parents should adopt the child? Ideal situation would be that,
Can
right?
that was my question.
Hmm.
Can CWC, since it's written clearly here, the risk factors should be considered and in the best interest of the child.
Hmm.
So can CWC authorize DCPO not to advertise and declare the child legally free for adoption? So that was just a question.
According to me, I don't think so.
But then
Because you have to follow the this thing. Because the other way, if they do not, now you say that they say no, don't advertise. Then what happens? How does the child get into the system? You tell me.
That was
How
my-
the child? That is what I see. This is a catch-22 situation that you're talking about now.
because every law it always gives a way.
It's a catch-22 situation that you're talking about now.
So these
Right.
are the two
So have you put? If you put it on the national newspaper, the child won't come to know. I'm just telling you. If you put it in the national newspaper, the child will not come to know. And anyways, if the child gets into what I am asking you, how will the child get into the adoption procedure if they do not advertise and the child is not declared abandoned?
Exactly, that is what I'm asking.
That is the answer I am giving you. You
No,
don't like my answer, but I am sorry.
No,
Nothing can be done about
No,
it.
see, every law has a loophole. So since it has been said clearly that the CWC can take
You are
into
stuck to that portion, but
Yes.
you are not going down, you are not getting
So
into
your
the best
answer is
interest of the
we
child.
cannot-
But sorry, I cannot agree with you, you are not getting into the best interest of the child. You are thinking of a trauma, a temporary trauma you are talking about.
Okay, I got
If
your
the
answer, I
child,
got your answer.
excuse me, you are DCPO?
Yes.
Right. So now if the child is not declared abandoned and a paper publication doesn't go, can the child get into the adoption process or not? Tell me that first. You are DCPO, you should be knowing this. Tell me this.
That is what I'm saying. Of course,
Yes or no?
we
Yes
have
or
to
no?
follow the
Tell me.
procedure. But I saw this loophole there. So can we use this? That was my question. If it could be used, it could be in the best interest.
But you
of the
tell
child.
me, that's what I'm asking you. I do not know the answer. If you do not want the paper publication to go, how will the child get into the adoption process? Tell me that. It's not given in the adoption regulations.
Yes. That is what I wanted to discuss. If it is not,
It's
whether
not
it is
given in the
possible.
adoption regulations. Yes, it's not given. So, keeping the best interest of the child in mind and the risk factors, there are two things. I agree with you. There is a risk factor. There is a risk factor. If the CWC says that the child means do not put this thing, paper publication, then okay, we take it for this thing, they do it. Then what happens to me? How do you go forward then? There are no parents around. Nobody is claiming the child. Right? There cannot be a relative adoption also. There cannot be a surrender also. It has to be abandoned. There is no way out. How do they, if you cannot proceed into the adoption process if the child is not declared legally free for adoption for abandoned children, for orphan children, for surrendered children. These are the three categories. So legally free for adoption, they cannot declare if this process is not followed. You understand? That is the catch. I agree with you what you are saying. I will note it also. We also get into such situations, but we have to go ahead. There is no other way out.
I was just catching on the main.
No, you have very important thing you have picked up. It's a very important thing that you have picked up. But the thing is, it's very unfortunate. 12 years what was happening. Why was the child with the foster parents for 12 years? What happened in the meanwhile? Now this adoption regulation 22, but adoption, this JJ Act has happened in 2015. What happened in the meanwhile? So what we get into now, your discussion will lead to awareness building is very important in the state of Sikkim. Because if you are interested for the child to get all the property rights, all the legal rights that the child would get after adoption, then they have to go through the adoption process. You understand? You agree with me? You are not happy with my answer, I know that. Neither am I happy answering you. Okay?
I was just trying to find a loophole so that we could help the child. Because it's written may, so I thought maybe it's not mandatory for the dispute.
Then you answer me. Then as we go, you tell me, you find the answer to me. I'll be very happy if you can find an answer, because like sir said, it's the discussion. It's not that I come with all the answers. We are having a discussion. Maybe we find the answer as we go. Okay? So you be alert then. Okay, you tighten your belt and look into this thing. It's a very important point she has taken out. Yeah. May direct, yes, it's given may direct, yes. It's not shall. It's not shall. It's may direct. But at the same time they are saying, they are talking about LFA. I am getting into that. That the LFA has to be done only after this procedure. Otherwise they are legally free for adoption, they cannot declare. If they can declare legally free for adoption after bypassing, this procedure, then go ahead and do it. But they are not telling that. So that is the contradiction. You understand? So let us get into that process, right?
I have one question regarding the same matter, regarding the best interest of the child. What usually happens is that we are...
You are, introduce yourself here.
I am from the South, Orientation.
Okay, okay.
So we get these kind of cases where they come to us and they want to adopt older children. They were already in not illegal but informal adoptions. They have taken children under informal adoptions way before 2000. So when we talk about the best interest, what I usually see is that we as adults, as child protection, all the system we are there, we take the best interest of the child.
But what would you do? Then you would not put a paper publication, then how do you go ahead? You tell CWC to just declare them legally free for adoption.
No ma'am, I'm saying I'm asking is how important is the child's decision in the best interest of that child? Because
Consent of the child, you mean?
consent and the child should also say what is his or her best interest.
In the adoption process, we are going to come to that, once they are declared legally free for adoption, older children, the consent of older children is taken. They are asked.
But best interest is, somewhere in the same case, because we get these cases quite often.
Very unfortunate, because they are already with the, like you said, foster, parents or whatever they are. And then now they are aware of this, they want to give them a legal, that balance, the legal thing they want to give, legal tag to the adoption. And then they come forward. Okay. So I think for the best interest of the child, you should go for the paper publication. It is not much. It is just few days. Nobody is going to come forward. You explain to the child. The child doesn't know. Anyways, in adoption, this thing, it is mandatory now to explain to the child that you are adopted this child. You know about the root search. If that you are following the adoption regulations, then anyways it is there, the child comes to know that the child is adopted. You get me? So, and then, you get me? I am getting my answer. Now that you are saying, I am thinking and getting the answer. And we will just bypass quickly because this is a very important discussion we are having. I will get back to my own state and we will have the same discussion there also. What I am thinking now, we put our paper publication, right? That goes for few days, few months, we are going to get into that. It's given out there. Above 6 years of age, above 5 years of age, how many months and plus 3 days. And then they declare them for LFA, right? Then after they declare them for LFA, the in-country adoption takes place. So during the in-country adoption, what happens? Then the catch comes. Yes, again. They have to apply in the carings portal. And it is not sure that they are going to get the same person, same child. There the catch comes. The referral comes. Then one has to ensure that they get this child's referral. So that they say yes. They reserve this child. Then the matching takes place and they get the child. They might get a referral of some other children and this child can get out. So that is the catch. Again, that is the catch if you get into the adoption system. And they are also not relatives. They are not relatives. They have defined who our relatives are. They are neither step parents. Right? It cannot be. Hama also, it will be tough. If they go through Hama also, because they are linking Hama and JJ Act also, the adoption regulations JJ Act they have linked. That also they have linked. So this sort of adoptions will be in trouble. Can I note this and get back to you? Can I make a note of this and get back to you? Because as we spoke just now, because the referral may not be the same referral. Even if they get into the system, the referral might not be the same referral and the child might not get back to them. You understand? So they can opt for state Sikkim, that much they can close in. They will opt for a girl child, they will opt for say state of Sikkim, they can do that. They can close down in Kara. You know the Carings portal, when in the this thing PAPs they enter, they will close down on the state of Sikkim. They can do that. They can ask for a girl child or boy child accordingly. They can give the age also preference. They can go to that extent. But can it be guaranteed by the Carings that it will be that child? That is the catch. So I think we should get back to Kara with this. But yes, the parents can get to that extent. I'm telling you. State of Sikkim, girl child, age factor, they can get down to this. They can zero into that. Okay? So this is something that I'm going to note and get back to you. Because we are also facing this and the same answers we are giving there also. But if you are looking into the, like Sir said just now, the May thing has come. So we'll get into this. So, in the case where the child is from another state, publication done in the known place of origin of the child in the local language, and such publication including the entry of the information in the Track the Missing Child portal. All these things are actually is done for the child to get back to the biological parents. You understand? All these things has been done for the child to get back to the biological parents. And over here you are saying the biological parents have abandoned them. And they were not declared abandoned at that juncture. Right. Now you see this. Tracking the parents, guardian of the child, orphan and abandoned child. Now you tell me what to do. CCI and SAS submits report to CWC on completion of 30 days from the date of production before CWC. Any information revealed by the child during the short-term placement. This child is not placed with the CCI. This child is with the foster parents. And details of the person whosoever approached for claiming the child, if any. This is not applicable also. Right? If the local police reports non-traceability of the biological parents or legal guardian is not received within 2 months in the case of orphan and abandoned child under the age of 2 and 4 months in the case of child over the age of 2. That means your case it will be 4 months. Paper publication for 4 months. Okay? It will be treated as non-traceable. And in the meanwhile, if the identity of the child is established, then they will be restored to the biological parents or legal guardian. So your parents are not coming into it. This also the law has cut this thing. Thus the child cannot go given to them. Then you see, CWC shall issue an order signed by any 3 members of the committee declaring the child orphan or abandoned or orphan child as legally free for adoption in the format given. This format is given within a period of 3 days after the expiry of 2 months for less than 2 years, 4 months, more than 2 years from the date of production of the child before the CWC. Now you tell me, where does this category fit into? Nowhere. This was not considered when these regulations were made. Thank God I came to this place today. So it's a very big issue, headache we are taking back for Kara. So I would request from Sikkim also, after you draft this thing, you can share it with me. I can put it in a legal parlance, I can put it, that issue that you are talking about, if it has to go from Sikkim also, you can run it through me. It will go through West Bengal. And I'll be talking to Karnataka and to Punjab and all these places, Delhi and all these places I will talk. Okay? What are they doing? What should they be doing? Because there is no way they can get out of this. Then you see, the inquiry and the order declaring the child orphan or abandoned as legally fit for adoption CWC should be completed in the district where the child was initially found or in the district to which the child is shifted. Or one thing can be done. Do you have your foster care guidelines? It has rolled out. Have you gone through the foster care guidelines that has been rolled out? In 2022, amendment of this in JJ rules. Any idea about that? They can continue in that. And there I think there is, I will look into it and get back to you, something about there's a linkage on adoption I think is there. The foster care guidelines. Not this side you won't find anything. On the other side you can find something. Okay? The foster care guidelines. We have to fall back upon, write down. Foster care guidelines of the model JJ rules as 2016 as amended in 2022, you might find an answer over there.
We can adopt after 2 years of procedure.
But the linkages has not come here. That has not been established out here. Now, Rule 6 talks about now what happens. The child has been given an LFA. Now what happens? The SAR takes over after that. What happens? The child study report is done in Schedule 2 and an MER, that is medical examination report, is done in Schedule 3, where the CMOH has to plays a very big role in this. Posted and then posted on the designated portal by SAR maximum within 10 days from the date the child has been declared legally free for adoption. So within 10 days the child study report has to be done and the MER has to be done and it has to be uploaded in the portal. Okay. Then DCPO shall facilitate the SAR in uploading the child study. This will be if the SAR is facing a technical difficulty, the DCPO will help you in this uploading. In case of siblings or twins, the CWC shall specify the status of the children as siblings or twins and declare the children as legally free for adoption in a single order. They will not be separated. This is important. Procedure for declaring a child of parents with mental illness or intellectual disability as legally free for adoption shall be done on the basis of a certificate. Now I am asking the doctors out here, will you give a certificate to the CWC to declare a child legally free for adoption? That means the mother is mentally ill and the mother will not get back anymore, cannot recover anymore. Can such certificates come from the hospitals so that they can be declared mentally legally free for adoption? Because our doctors say that it is difficult. There are cases where after 7 years the mother has come back. But what do you say for the best interest? Now I am talking like her now. I am talking about the best interest of the child. I am taking a cue from her. A child is rotting in the SAR, growing up, 5 years, and then after 6 years go to a CCI. Mother is there in the mental hospital, the child is there in the institution. Can you give a certificate under the PWD Act following it? Like she put me in a fix, they put me in a fix, I am putting you in a fix now.
No, as for that, whenever we issue the disability certificate, it has to be reviewed every 2 or 3 years. Because we cannot give final report on the same day. There is a column where we mention that when to review. Because
no, PWD Act, mental illness, they have covered it in the PWD Act, mental illness part. So can you give or you cannot give, it has been covered.
Mental illness, the patient may, the parents.
It is difficult to give.
At the time of examination, she may be having severe disability, but later on after medication and hospitalization, she may be recovered and she will be in a normal status.
So now we have got another issue for the Kara, right? So it is the mother's right versus the child's right. So how long the child will languish in the SAR or in the CCI? So the Kara let them come out with an answer to this also. So it's a good thing that we are having a discussion out here today. Right? So this is another question that should go from the Sikkim, from the Sikkim government to Kara. Do you agree with me? This is a very important issue. In SARS you must be having such cases also. The mother is suffering from mental illness. You might, because we have a lot of cases. And they keep on asking us what to do. Because we do not know what to do, because we cannot go beyond the PWD Act. You understand? And like Sir has said, Dr. Sir has said that they cannot give a certificate. Now, surrendered child. Surrendered child, a parent or guardian wishing to surrender a child will apply to CWC in Form 23. This is very important. If you want to surrender, you come to the CWC in Form 23, you say you want to surrender. And they might be illiterate, so CWC through the DALSA, DLSA, District Legal Services Authority, they will give a legal aid counsel to help them to fill up the surrender deed. Now, this surrender, the application form for surrender. The deed of surrender shall be executed in Form 24 on the day of production of the child and Schedule 5. So they have repeated this, mind you, don't get confused. There is a form, there is a deed. It is the same thing. Right? Only I saw in the surrender deed or in the LFA there was a bit of this thing, addition there given in the schedule. Bit of addition, I'll tell you which one, there's an addition given. If a child is born to a married couple, this is important, listen now. If a child is born to a married couple, they want to surrender, both parents have to sign the deed of surrender. One of them is dead, the death certificate has to be given, has to be produced. In case of a child born out of a wedlock, only the mother can surrender, and if the mother is a minor, she cannot surrender. She will give this thing, but along with her the witness should be the guardian or the family of the minor is willing to surrender, then the deed of surrender shall be signed by accompanying adult as witness. Okay? Nobody other than the parents or legal guardian can surrender this child. This is very important. So, your case will not apply there also. They cannot surrender the child. If one biological parent of a married couple is surrendering the child, now you see where in surrender cases they will be declared as abandoned. There the CWC and others get confused. If one biological parent of a married couple is surrendering their child and whereabouts of the other parent is not known, it will be treated as abandoned. Done? If the surrender is by a person other than the person or legal guardian, then the child shall be treated as abandoned. This is there. So even if those parents come here, your foster parents, you understand? There are a lot of permutation combination. And what happens to this child till she becomes 18? She becomes, self-sufficient. Are you taking the responsibility, the CCI, the state government takes the responsibility of the 16-year-old child to make her self-sufficient till she becomes 18 plus, and then she takes care of her child after 2 years. The child might stay in the SA for 2 years, and then the child goes back after that. You understand? It is very complicated. So it is not that it is black and white. There are a lot of grey areas, I'm telling. These issues will come up as you start working. These issues are going to come up. What is going to happen? We get a lot of children like that. They want to keep the child. Then what happens? So I was talking to this girl, that is why I am talking. She said that no, then we said that let them continue. I visited the SA for just CCI for a few hours. I was talking to that girl and she was adamant that I want the child. I am not going to surrender this child. So what happens? So you will get such cases. The details of the surrendered child along with the photograph shall be uploaded in the designated portal by SA within 3 days. Due regard shall be given to the privacy of the surrendering parents. This is very important. It should not come out. And the surrendered child by the authorities and agencies. No public notice or advertisement shall be issued in case of a surrendered child. Had those foster parents who surrendered, then the public notice would not have come out. But they cannot surrender because they are not the legal guardian and other the biological parents. See? So how they have bound this act. In case of surrendering, a biological parent has not claimed back the child during reconsideration period, the same shall be intimated by the SA or the CWC. Okay, the SA and the CWC, on the expiry of the 60 days, they intimate the same thing to the SA and the CCI. They intimate the completion, about the completion to the CWC, so that they can declare the child now legally free for adoption. Okay. No further notice shall be given to the surrendering parents. Strict confidentiality shall be maintained in case of all documents pertaining to biological parents in all circumstances unless the surrendering parents have expressed the willingness for divulging the same. Have you understood this portion? If the surrendering parents, they give it in writing that yes, in the surrender deed our names can be there. So when the root search is being done by this child, if it is done by this child, so that the child can trace back to the surrendered parents, and only to the child adoptee it will be given. It cannot be given to anybody else when the root search is done. They have to give it in undertaking. Otherwise, afterwards they say, why did you give my name? Why did you put my name? That is why the undertaking is given. Because disruption can happen, because surrender means what? They want to carry on with their lives. They don't want an adoptee to come back to them. So that is why the check and balance system has been kept. The surrender of a child before the CWC will be done in camera. So the surrender now in schedule 20, the surrender of the child or children by the biological parents for adoption by step parent shall be before the CWC in schedule 20. If it is for adoption, the surrender is taking place along. So three things are happening. One, the form is being given, then the surrender deed is happening, and then schedule 20 is being filled up. Three things are happening. Okay. Now, eligibility criteria of the child eligibility. What are the criteria? Often abandoned and surrendered child, they can go for declared legally free for adoption. A child of a relative can go, or a step parent wants to adopt. These are the three categories eligible for adoption. Your category is not there. What you were saying, right? So this is something we have to talk to Kara. And if in the foster care guidelines it has been given, the linkages is given, then we will tell them to put the linkage out here also in the adoption regulations, right? During the lunch break I will go through that and I will get back to you. Okay. Eligibility criteria for PAC: physically, mentally, emotionally, financially capable. These are all words, jargons, right? It is important for the social worker when they do the home study to find out these things. They shall not have any life-threatening medical condition. They should not have been convicted in a criminal act in nature or accused in any case. We are seeing that after the adoption taking place, sexual abuse is happening. They did not have it, but it was there in the mind. It was there, in their mental framework was such. So after it has come out and they are doing it. Any prospective PAPs, irrespective of their marital status and whether or not they have biological son or daughter, can adopt a child subject to the following. Any PAP, irrespective of their marital status, that means married, unmarried, single, others, LGBTQ plus and others, whole of India, you must have seen in West Bengal, one LGBTQ plus had taken an adoption, she has taken an adoption. So whether or not they are biological son or daughter can adopt a child, these are the consent of both the spouses for adoption shall be required in case of a married couple. A single female can adopt a child of any gender. Single female, any gender. Single male, only male child. It cannot be a girl child. No child shall be given in adoption up to a couple unless they have at least 2 years of stable marital relationship, except in cases of relative or step parent. This will not apply. Couples with 2 or more children shall only be considered for special needs and hard to place children. They will get only these categories. If they already have biological children. Unless they are relatives or stepchildren, this will not apply. The PAPs have to revalidate their home study after a period of 3 years. It will be validated only for 3 years. After that, again home study will take place. Seniority of PAP who have not received a single refill within 3 years shall be counted from their date of registration, except those who have crossed composite years of 110 years. This question also I had asked. This was not answered. After this, what happens to the PAP? They are waiting. During the waiting period, they cross 110 years. Then what happens? They are not eligible for adoption anymore. That was not this thing of the PAP. That was not the problem of PAP. It was the problem of the carings. Right? You have crossed 110 years while waiting period is on. This answer has not been given. Third question to Kara. I am enjoying myself now, really. I was a bit worried then when she had caught me, but now I am enjoying myself. Yes. Now, the age of PAP as on date of registration shall be counted. See, deciding the eligibility of PAPs for children of different age groups. Now, up to 2 years, maximum composite years of a couple will be 85, single will be 40, 2 to 4 years, 90 years, and then single will be 45, 4 to 8 years, 100 years, single will be 50, 8 to 18 years, 110 years, 55. Beyond that, nothing has been given. Now, your couple might have crossed 110 years, foster care. That couple you are talking about. Right? So they will not get into it at all. You understand? हो सकता है ना, this might happen. Or it might be they cannot fit into any of them because the child has crossed is above 8 and up to 18 years, and they have crossed. They won't get the child. So anyways, it's not applying. You cannot. It's not happening. Provided that the minimum age difference between the child and the PAP shall not be less than 25 years. That is important. In case of a couple, the composite age is counted. Age criteria of PAP shall not be applicable for relative adoption and adoption by state parent. Now, availability of child for adoption. So, as soon as the child is declared legally free for adoption by child welfare committees, that child shall be allowed to be given in adoption to PAPs who is a resident Indian, NRI, overseas citizen of India cardholder. This is important. Type of child is normal child. Age criteria of the child is below 5 years. That child will be referred to NRI, then OCI cardholder and PAP for 60 days. It will be open for 60 days. The referral will be given for 60 days. Then second category, normal child. The child is above 5 years or their siblings. They will be referred to the same person, same PAPs for 30 days. It goes down. Okay. Then the next C. Categories of children mentioned in A and B above who have not been placed in adoption in the prescribed term limit. These children did not get into any sort of referral. They did not get any referral. Then again it will be open to the three categories, resident Indian, NRI, OCI for 7 days irrespective of their seniority. So it is 60 days, 30 days plus 7 days. It will be open. Still the child does not go. No referral comes for the child. Then it will go to the foreign PAPs for 15 days. Clear? This is clear? Next. Now procedure for special needs children. What will happen to them? We have special needs also. Children with special needs that has been declared special. They are children with special needs by the concerned authority. If the child has any disability as listed in the schedule 18 and part 3, schedule 3 of part E of the medical examination report as given by the concerned authority, such a child shall be made available for resident Indian, NRI, OCI, PAPs for 15 days. Okay? And thereafter shall be made available for all category of PAPs. Is it clear? But what we had done before this, this resident Indian, NRI and OCI will get only if they have biological children. It will be open to them. Procedure related to hard to place children. This is another, it's a very sad thing that I am showing now, but we do have hard to place children. A normal child under the age of 5 who has not been placed in adoption, that means A, B, C, D, everything has been exhausted. Still the child could not be placed. That child becomes a hard to place child. Okay? The time limit shall be calculated from the date of the certificate issued by CWC declaring the child LFA. How do you know the child is hard to place? You know, you have given all those things, 30 days, 60 days, 30 days, 3 days, 15 days. Then the child goes into hard to place. And the benchmark is from the date when the certificate issued by the CWC, the LFA has been given. From there on the benchmark. So do you have any hard to place children? Do your calculations and declare them as hard to place children. Okay? Do your calculations, important. Types of applicants of PAPS category. Adoption by resident, the T has been served already. So the tea time I have engulfed the tea time also. Do you mind? Because I have no other this thing. I cannot stay back tomorrow. I have to carry on. So I have to finish today. So with your kind permission, I am continuing. The types of applicant PAPS category. Adoption by resident Indian is one category. NRI, overseas citizen of India, cardholder PAPS, foreign PAPS staying outside India is another category. Third category is OCI cardholder, foreign national staying in India, habitually staying in India is another category. Okay. Adoption by Indian PAPs who stay abroad. Indian PAPs staying abroad is the fourth category. Adoption of a child from a foreign country by Indian citizen is the other category. Inter-country and in-country adoption, relative adoption is the other category, and adoption by step parent. So there are permutation combinations. These are the permutation combinations. Now after this we would get into the manner of registration. I am getting into the process now, slowly. Okay? The manner of registration by PAC. It is in schedule 6. It is very important. Please go through it. Some of the schedules you must. There is a means absolute yes, yes, not no, no. Yes, yes, you have to go through. Schedule 6 is you have to go through. It is online registration. I have just put little out here. Registration by PAPs themselves. Over here they do not have to go through any agency. They will go to the portal. Of course, the SA can help, DCPU can help, CWC can help. They will help them. If I have to get into it, I do not know. I belong to a village. I do not know. I am not conversant with all the carings and online system. So I go to a CWC, I go to a DCPU, or I go to any SA. They will help me to upload. Indians living in India, in-country adoption, okay, for Indians living in India, they can upload it, they can apply themselves in the portal. In case of OCI cardholder and foreign national habitually residing in India, more than a year they are staying in India. That means, remember the definition, habitual residents, more than a year, they can register themselves. They do not have to go through anybody. Clear? Now, registration by PAPs through AFA, Authorized Foreign Adoption Agency in abroad, Central Authority abroad. These two are for Hague ratified convention countries. These two, AFA and Central Authority. Just remember this much. And government department, concerned government department, Indian missions are for non-ratified Hague countries. Non-ratified countries. Right? These are the divisions that they have given. What I could gauge. In case of non-resident Indian NRI, overseas India, citizen of India cardholder or foreign PAC, habitually residing in a foreign country, simply it is inter-country adoption I am talking about. Their registration shall be done through AFA or Central Authority in Hague ratified countries, and foreign and I don't know why they have put out here foreign government department. It is something different out there, concerned in the country of residence. In case of non-Hague countries, it is Indian mission. But as we go, you will find the foreign government department is shifted this side in non-Hague countries. This is not this side, but in the form it has been put out here. I think there's a typing error or something like that. Entire process, there's two divisions have been given. So it is for NRI and overseas India cardholder, and for these two are for non-Hague countries. Okay, is this clear? I'll go slowly now. Is this clear? What I could summarize from the applications I put out here. It has not been given in this way, but it has been given in division. It has been given. Now, adoption procedure for resident Indians. When are we breaking for lunch? 1 o'clock? Okay, fine. Registration as PAPs. First thing is registration. I am going slowly now. First thing is your Indians. Then what do? Home study will be done by, of the PAPs will be done by the social worker. Right? Third, then a referral, if everything they are eligible, they find that everybody is eligible, then a referral will come from the PAP, from the SA. Okay, to the PAP. Then after the referral, the PAPs will accept. After that, the adoption committee will do the matching. After that, that thing also goes through. Pre-adoption foster care will happen of the PAP with the children who is to be adopted. Adoption order is given by the district collector or district DM. Then the follow-up of the child, of the adopted child, of the progress of the report of the adopted child. Is this clear till here? Now we are getting into the details. Process of registration, what happens? Like I was telling, Schedule 6, uploading of the relevant document within 30 days. you are applying relevant documents has to be given, uploaded within, you get 1 month time, more or less 1 month, 31 days, 30 days, right? Who gets? The PAP gets. And they get the registration number. After they do the registration, they get a registration number from the acknowledgement slip, from the carings portal. Why is the registration number given? Whenever they want to see their, as per the seniority, they are getting referral or not, how much they have progressed, they can put in this number and they can check out there. Clear? PAP shall apply to SA or DCPO. After this, what happens? DCPO nearest to their residence in their district for conducting the home study. Done? It is there, it's the onus is on them. They have to apply. Then, is rights of the SA, PAPs permitted to choose 2 state choices or cluster of choice. Cluster of state. I was telling you, they can choose their state. The registration is for all SARs of the state or states that they have opted for. It is up to them. Registration is done for all SARs, but they can opt for a specific state if they want to. Now, and they can choose the SAR also. It is all the SARs are saying this, but they can choose the SAR who will do their home study report. HSR will be done in schedule. This is another important schedule. In schedule 7. 6 is applying, 7 is HSR within 60 days from the date of submission of the document. This is also 60 days. Through social worker of the selected SAR or empaneled social worker of DCPO or SARA who also provides pre-adoption counseling to the PAPs. So HSR and counseling, this part, pre-adoption counseling, is very, very important. If this is not done properly, disruption and dissolution is a direct link you get out there. Directly it is linked. HSR shall be posted on the designated portal by SAR within 3 days from the date of completion. They are taking 30 days. Within 3 days of completion, they are going to upload it and it will be shared with the PAP. What HSR they have done. Then comes referral, reservation and matching. On the basis of seniority, PAP shall be referred. Maximum 3 referrals will be given to them. Maximum 3 referrals. And between consecutive two referrals, 1 month gap will be given. Done? So, in the referrals, what all will be given to them? The photograph of the child, the CSR of the child, the medical examination report of the child. This is another important portion. It is seen that the medical examination report is just done in a perfectionary manner. It's not done in a proper manner. When they come for pre-adoption foster care, then they see the child has these problems. So, now I'm coming to this. PAP reserve the child or children within a period of 48 years and unreserved child gets, 48 hours, and the unreserved child gets released by the designated portal for other PAPs in the waiting list. So they get 2 days to reserve. If they do not reserve, automatically the child goes back. The name will go back and it is open for other this thing. For referral, it will go back for other referral. SAR fixes an appointment of the PAP with the adoption committee for matching with the child. Now what happens after the reservation takes place? SAR has this thing now. Their function is, their role is, they will fix up an appointment with the adoption committee for matching with the child and for assessing the PAP suitability. That they do in the minutes of the meeting that they have in schedule 27. In detail it is given how the matching is done, what do they see in the eligibility criteria, how then they assess the PAP suitability, what happens, in detail it has been given. This is another important schedule, that is schedule 27. Okay. Then adoption committee shall scrutinize the requisite documents as stipulated for the PAPs and listed in schedule 9 part 1. The adoption committee to go through it. So the representative should know all these things. Part 1 of schedule 9, what it is about, all these documents, they have to be very, very clear. So you make a adventure list, of all the relevant forms and what the form is all about and the contents of the form, and keep it like user friendly, keep it ready with you. That is very important. while accepting the child, this is important part that I am getting into. While accepting the child, the PAP signs the CSR and the MER in presence of the social worker, and the SAR shall record their acceptance in the portal. But the PAP's right, the PAP also has the right to independently, whatever medical report they have given, the SAR has forwarded, they can independently run it through their own physician. And if that physician says that, recommends that some other test has to be done, then it has to be done. And in that process, in that advisory that I was talking about, the SCARA has given an advisory on guideline. In that they have given, in that process, if the PAP spends some money, that has to be reimbursed to the PAP. If it has been proved that SAR should have done it and they didn't do it. Okay? Now, rights of PAPs pre-adoption care. Like I was telling just now, if the PAPs are not selected for the child by the adoption committee, the reason has to be given. It has to be a speaking order as to why this thing has not been, they have not been selected. The PAP may also get the MER, like I was telling, reviewed by a medical practitioner of their choice. PAP, the pre-adoption foster care of the child by PAP within 10 days from the date of matching. Within 10 days they get pre-adoption foster care. After signing the pre-adoption foster care undertaking in Schedule 8. In Schedule 8, they sign the pre-adoption foster care undertaking by the PAP. Why is it important? Tell me. Why do they have to give a pre-adoption foster care undertaking? Why do you think it is important? Yes, this is one. Other thing, why are undertakings given? That is one that is very important. The SAR gives an undertaking also, like I told you, the verification certificate that they are giving, they are verifying that it is true, it holds true. So in this pre-adoption foster care undertaking, that they will not misuse, they will look into the right of the child, there should not be any abuse of the child, education of the child should continue, nothing should get hampered. The entire rights of the child should be taken care of. There should not be any violation of the rights of the child. That's why the undertaking is very important. Then comes the adoption order. SAR files an application with the DM, that is District Collector, through the DCPO in 28, where the child is located with relevant documents. That is schedule, what are documents is Schedule 9, within 10 days from the date of matching. So, date of matching, what is happening? The moment the matching happens, they can get into pre-adoption foster care, they can take. The other thing is immediately SAR files, no wastage of time, with all the relevant documents. Through DCPU, mind you. If the child is from a CCI located in another district, the SAR shall file the application in the office of the DM in that district through DCPU, where the child is located, and the CCI becomes the co-applicant. So you must be having the SAR CCI linkages. That has happened. The SAR CCI linkages has happened already. So SAR through the DCPU will apply, and they become the co-applicant, the CCI. Now the superintendent of the person in charge of the CCI, they become the co-applicant. In case of the siblings or twins, the SAR shall file a single application, because we don't want them to get separated. The DM shall hold an adoption proceeding in camera. It will held in camera, and the disposal of the case within 2 months. He gets 2 months. Within 2 months, it has to be disposed of. The DM shall issue the adoption order in 33, Schedule 33. This is very important. One has to go through this, of the adoption regulations. Then comes the role of SAR. This is not finished yet. What does the SAR do? The SAR shall obtain the certified copy of everything is going online. So they obtain a certified copy of the adoption order from the DM through the DCPU and forward it to PAPs within 10 days via email. No hard copies, goes via email, and upload it on the designated portal. If the PAPs want, they can get a printout and keep it. Everything goes online. SAR shall apply, this is another important portion. SAR shall apply for the birth certificate of the child to the issuing authority within 5 days from the date of issuing of the adoption order. No delay. And the the issuing authority, they will not delay. Within 5 days of that date of receipt of application, they will issue the birth certificate. The birth certificate for what? With the name of the adoptive parents, name of the parents, that they are the parents of adoptive parents as parents, and date of birth is recorded in the adoption order. These two things are very important. This should be mentioned in the birth certificate. SA shall submit an affidavit to the district magistrate while filing the application. I was talking about the undertaking. This is it, the affidavit. While filing an application in schedule 23. This is important. Please note this for the SAS. Do you do it? Then comes the follow-up. This is another important portion. In 2 years, it will be a 6 monthly follow-up. Okay? In the pre-adoption, a follow-up will be done in schedule 12 and upload it in the designated portal along with the photographs of the child within 10 days from the conduction of such report. In case of adoptive parents, in case they relocate, moving from one state to the other, okay, or moving out of the country if they are moving, then they shall, let us go from one state to the other now, they shall inform the agency which has conducted their home study and the DCPO of the district where they relocate. They have to inform so that it continues there. The follow-up continues there. The DCPO of the district of the current residence of the PAP shall prepare the post-adoption follow-up and upload within 10 days from the conduction of such report. Then, provided that the first follow-up has to be done within 3 months from the date of the pre-adoption foster care. Pre-adoption foster care. From there on, getting into adoption to 6 monthly. But that has to be within the 3 months. Okay, and uploaded. This is very important. And when you are doing this follow-up, it has happened the adoptive parents has rung me up because I am a part of the SARA. Man, please tell the SARA team to send a social worker to do a pre-adoption follow-up. That should not happen. You should have your diaries ready. You should have a calendar ready. Because it's so important. A child has gone to a strange, completely a strange this thing. You do not know what's happened to the child. And there have been cases where the child has tried to kill the adoptive mother by pressing the neck. That also we have found. Of course, then she said sorry because she had severely she was sexually abused in the SA. That is another story. She was severe. For 3 years she was abused. Of course, now that has gone into litigation now. And this child is so traumatized that she doesn't know what she is doing. So continuously counseling is going on now. So over here, do you think she needs she needs a psychologist or a psychiatrist counseling? This sort of abuse has happened for 3 years. That child has gone into a adoptive environment. She needs psychiatrist. Pardon?
First psychiatrist,
then it comes down to this thing. Yeah, absolutely. So the SA should be, the SA should be conversant about it, the DCPU should be conversant about it, the state government should be conversant about it. It should be happening, but it does not happen. It is just a psychologist who goes there and does. But if there is a need, so the social worker should be trained to know the need. You know what I am getting at now? So, in case of non-adjustment of both the child and the adoptive family with each other, the SA, the DCPU shall arrange the required counseling for such adoptive. Now we are getting into disruption, non-adjustment. Adoptive parents and adoptee, or link them to counseling services available within the district or state within 7 days with due intimation to the state SARA and the DM. Both of them are intimated that some non-adjustment is taking place. And we are getting into a counseling mode now, right? We have got cases where the mother comes and tells the DM house here or the DCP office comes and tells that she is calling me dark. This child is calling me dark. The girl keeps on taunting me that I am very dark, I don't want to continue. Can you imagine? So what do you say? Over here, we have got cases where they tell the child, we are taking you for a visit. Yes, I am telling you. They tell the child, we are taking you for a visit where? To the CCI. There we will distribute sweets. They take the child leave the child in the CCI and goes back and says we don't want to take back the child anymore. The child doesn't know the child is being disrupted. The child doesn't know that they want a dissolution of this adoption. Can you imagine why I am telling it is for the best interest of the child? It is only for the child we think about. Because we do get cases like this also. Yes, we are thinking of the well-being of the PAPs also, but more so of the child. PAPs can control their emotions, PAPs can control their trauma, because we are more matured. The child is not matured. Right? Provided that in case of non-compliance of 3 consecutive post-adoption follow-ups, the district DCPU shall prepare the social investigation report and inform the CWC. We just say get into disruption, or if it is before the adoption order by the DM or the district collector, get into disruption. We don't want the child back there. Right? If the child we can see that yes, it is not much of a problem, the child can adjust, go back. Otherwise, get back the child. Get back the child. And if it is already the adoption order has given, we will get into dissolution mode. The DCP will file an application before the DM and it will be done. The DM will also get into it. Get into the counseling, DM will get into this. Disruption means what and dissolution means, rather talking about it, means the child being unmatched from the adoptive family due to non-adjustment of both the child and the adoptive family, both sides, with each other after the placement but prior to the completion of the legal process. That is the adoption order. That is disruption. But dissolution means annulment of the adoption legally due to non-adjustment of both the child and adoptive family each other after the adoption order has been obtained from the DM. After it is obtained, that becomes a dissolution. Now, at the stage, in country, both in country we are talking about, at the stage of pre-adoption foster care, before filing an adoption application, the child shall be taken back to the SA. Taken back to the SA with information to DCPU and the SA. Okay? At the stage of pre-adoption foster care, after the application has been filed with the DM through the DCPU, disruptions can happen. The child shall be taken back by SA and adoption application shall be withdrawn with the permission of the CWC. It has been given, adoption application by the SA to the DCPU and SARA, right? So that will be withdrawn, but CWC has to be intimidated and permission has to be taken, that we are taking back. So the adoption is a rehabilitative process by the CWC. So you have to tell the CWC that this is not happening out here, we are taking back. The status of the child on designated portal shall be updated by the SA accordingly. Where the SA has been taken back to another state during the adoption process, pre-adoption foster care might be taken to another state, so they will coordinate with the SARA of the other state to get back the child. Dissolution, what happens? In case of dissolution, application for annulment, like I was telling you, shall be annulment of the adoption order shall be filed by the SA with the DM through the DCPU. Nothing goes straight. Through DCPU this is going to happen. No application should be filed until 2 counseling sessions have been completed. But again, please get into the best interest of the child. If you see it is a sexual abuse, not a single second shall be wasted. The child shall be rescued. I am using the word now, rescued. The child should not stay back there. We have got a case where the mother, the adult, means I am feeling bad talking about it, but this has to be told. The mother is having a relationship with another man, and the child sees it, adoptee, and the adoptive father is abusing the child, sexually abusing the child. Can you imagine? The child could not say in the counseling, because what was happening, we couldn't know why the child is so withdrawn. Then in-depth counseling, at least 2 counseling, I am saying why 2, 4, 6? Get the child away from there for some time. Do anything for the best interest of the child. But find out what is happening to the child out there. They cannot say, they are so traumatized because already they are lifted, the child is abandoned, growing up in a CCI, you know how the CCIs look like, suddenly they are put into one family, they do not know the family, then these things start happening to the child, God knows what happened in the CCI or in the SA, and then the child cannot come out and tell immediately. So counseling is very important. Post dissolution order, the child becomes legally free. Back to pavilion, and then the child within 3 days, mind you, they do not waste anymore. Within 3 days, they will update the child's status. Back again. Where the Indian PAPs move with the child abroad within 2 years from the date of pre-adoption foster care, We are talking about follow-up. Back to follow-up now. The concerned Indian diplomatic mission in the country of arrival in case of non-Hague countries and AFA and central authorities in case of Hague countries, they shall be intimated at least 15 days in advance. By whom? By the PAPs. By the adoptive parents. It's no more PAPs, they are already adopted. So they will inform them within 15 days in writing. Hague countries, it will be AFA and central authorities and Indian diplomatic mission in non-Hague countries. Okay, that we are getting the child out here. Please do my follow-up, and then it will be again uploaded in the portal. Everything is tied up in the carings portal. Everything, and this money they have to give an undertaking after this, and the money also they will pay. That the social worker comes, does a follow-up report, okay, and gives back the report. The follow-up report is put up in the portal, in the carings portal. It will go back to the carings portal. They have to pay a fee for that. Now we are coming to exactly 1 hour to go now. All this B, C, D, remember those categories I have to finish. Now I am tightening my belt. This is a bit this thing. So now what happens? Adoption procedure for the NRI, OCI, foreign PAPs staying outside India, inter-country. Clear? So what are the procedure? Home study report. So this is not registration. Be very clear. First is home study. That was first registration and then home study. In country. Remember that this thing, in country, this thing, adoption by the Indian PAPs. Over here, home study will happen first and then registration. And then no objection certificate of the authority and pre-adoption foster care. Then adoption order. Then passport visa, intimation to the immigration authorities, conformity certificate by the CARA, application for the birth certificate, etc. Then the follow-up. This is the in short. Now in long, what happens? In long, this is for the adoption procedure for NRI, OCI, foreign PAPs staying outside India. First thing is the PAP will approach the AFA or the central authority for Hague countries, government departments or the Indian diplomatic mission in the non-Hague countries. Clear? This portion is clear. For what? For preparation of HSR, then for the registration in the designated portal. Clear? Next, the concerned agency, all these agencies on ascertaining the eligibility of PAP, they will do the HSR. They will see if the PAP is eligible or not. None. They will, for adopting a child, shall get their home study completed and register their application in the designated portal. All this is happening in carings. All this is happening with our own forms. It is not their form. Our form will be followed. Okay? That is where the linkages is happening, international linkages is happening. How the carings is, linked that side. All documents forming the part of the HSR will be notarized and the documents originating from India shall be self-attested. Those are coming from abroad will be notarized, and if they originated from India, they will be just self-attested. The authority shall scrutinize the documents. It comes to the authority. Authority means CARA. CARA will scrutinize all the documents to determine their eligibility and suitability. You see the sieving process, the chalni we say. First, who did the chalni? HSR happened. Then the eligibility was seen by the social worker, the SA, right, the SARA, they see. Now over here the AFA sees, all these agencies they see. It goes through the sieve, it goes down to the CARA. Then the CARA sees the eligibility. Then what happens? The profile of 2 children forwarded through the concerned agencies, which may further forward such profiles to the PAPs concerned as per local rules. Now, what happens? Referral and matching. So after this, what happens? 2 profiles will be sent. Through CARA, it is sent through SA to SARA to Kara, it goes to the AFA, to all the foreign agencies. I will just say foreign agencies, that means all these 4 agencies. It will go to them as the case may be. Now they will reserve within 96 hours. Ours was 48 hours. For them they get 96 hours. They accept the referral by signing the child study report and the medical examination report within 30 days from the date of reservation. Is this clear? Reservation is the referred child, they will accept it within 96 hours and they will 30 days they get for reservation. This acceptance will be signed. These reports and photographs of the child in original shall be sent by SA to AFA. So they are getting the original documents, mind you. Perhaps staying abroad, they will get all the original documents. Clear till here? Is it clear? I'll proceed. Then what will happen? AFA forwards the original document in schedule 9 to PAPS, of PAPS to SA for scrutiny. All the documents are going to come. Then what happens? PAPS may visit the SA, like I was telling you. If they want, they can visit the SA to see the child, and the medical reports, if they want, they can again get it re-verified through their own practitioner. Then the NOC of the authority and pre-adoption foster care. The Kara shall issue NOC in favor of the proposed adoption. Schedule 10. This is very important for this sort of adoption. Within 10 days from the date of receipt of acceptance of the child and letter of approval or permission of the receiving country. So once they receive these things and then they give the no objection. No objection will be given only after the acceptance. And the acceptance means signature. They have to sign. Then only it will be uploaded in the portal. Then they will issue the no objection certificate. It will be generated. PAC may take the child in pre-adoption foster care for a temporary period within India. They can come to India and take. After issuance of the NOC by the authority, while the adoption order is pending, and furnishing an undertaking to SA schedule 8. Remember, they have to give an undertaking in that also, same. Then the adoption order. Now after getting on receipt of the NOC from the Kara, what they will do? The SA will approach the DCPU within 5 days. There are no wastage of time with the adoption application. This application is different. This model application is different. This is 29. And the DCPU shall scrutinize the application for submission of the dossier to the DM within 5 days. This is important. DM is not supposed to sit and go through each and everything. The liability is of the DCPU. They shall scrutinize. Before that it was the SA. Go through, then the call of them, and then it comes to the DM. Then the DM goes through after that, okay? And within 5 days of scrutiny by the DCPU, it will come to the DM. If online, it becomes 3 days. It will become 3 days. For PAPs habitually residing abroad, desires the SA to represent on their behalf. In our adoption is happening, the PAPs cannot come. So they give a power of attorney to the SA representative. They represent, and the video audio call takes place during the adoption hearing. Is that clear? Okay. PAPs shall receive final custody of the child from SA as soon as the passport and visa are issued to the child after the adoption order, issuance of the adoption order from the DM. DM issues the order, then the passport and the visa are issued for the child, then they get the final custody, not before that. So, the Kara, now who takes the responsibility? Kara will take the responsibility. Issues a conformity in the schedule 11 within 3 days from the date of availability of adoption order of the design portal, Hague signatory countries. Kara informs the immigration authorities and the FRRO about the confirmation of the adoption to get the visa, passport and the visa. To obtain Indian passport for the adopted child, the SA shall submit the application to the regional passport officer within 3 days from the date of receipt of the adoption order. This form is also given. This schedule is also given. In what schedule it will be given to the regional passport officer. The regional passport officer, within 10 days they will issue the passport. So it is on the fast track. Within 10 days from the date of receipt, the SA shall approach the birth certificate authority. Within 5 days they are going to get it. They will take 5 days to approach, and 5 days, that is again within 10 days they get the birth certificate. Right? Then the adopted parents shall come to India. They will get 2 months period from the date of adoption order. Within date or these 2 months, all these things has to be ready. The visa, the passport, the birth certificate, everything will be in place. The counselling, everything will be done. The child is ready. They will come within this thing 2 months and take the child. Then comes the follow-up. Follow-up, I did not do any shortcut in the follow-up. The AFA, or the Central Authority of the Indian Diplomatic Mission of the government, all these agencies, they shall report the progress of the adopted child for 2 years from the date of arrival of the adopted child in the receiving country. From then 2 years on a quarterly basis during the first year and on 6 monthly basis in the second year by uploading the information in the designated portal. Done? This is very important in the follow-up and is done in form Schedule 12. If they find there is an adjustment problem, then of the adoptee with the adoptee parents, what they will do, they will arrange for necessary counselling. If it is found that the adoptee is unable to adjust with the adoptive family, that means the child is not being unable to adjust with the adoptive family, or that it is not in the best interest of the child, what will they do? The agencies concerned, they shall withdraw the child and provide necessary counselling and shall arrange for suitable alternate adoption or foster care of the child in that country in consultation with the Indian Diplomatic Mission and CARA. This is one place where again my concern comes in. I was reading up about homing, rehoming. You can write down this word, rehoming, in US, USA, Canada, Australia. They are doing rehoming of this adopted children. What is this rehoming? What happens out there? Can you beat it? I saw some videos. These child care services that they are talking about, they arrange for parading of these children. All this, prospective parents, they sit, who wants to take, they come forward, and these children are paraded in front of them. I saw this video, you can see these videos. And if suddenly they like a child, they choose the child, take the child aside, and 5 to 10 minutes they talk. And if the child like the child, they have a very small process, then they take the child. Something like that happens in rehoming. It's alarming what happens. When I talked about it to our Kolkata district magistrate, and she is also a child rights and trafficking director, she says, no, we take back our child. Then I told her, you find out. You take back your child, a child that you are sending across, you keep a follow-up and all those things you are doing on your personal basis. Does all the DMs of our state do it? As SARA member, I can ask this question. Do they do it? Now, to CARA, we can ask this question. All the DMs or all the DCPs, are they doing it? Or is the CARA competent enough to do all these things? Like it's written out here that without CARA's permission, nothing can be done. Is it happening for each and every resolution that is happening or disruption that is happening out there? It is very important to find out. Where is the check and balance system? I do not know. Maybe I am not conversant. I didn't go. Maybe there is a system. I have to find out. But this is a point of concern I am telling you. Rehoming thing is happening. I have sent it across to a few concerned authorities. In case of the dissolution of adoption, the child shall be entitled to receive care, protection, rehabilitation, child protection services. Who are they? What are they doing? It's important to find out. And as provided in the Hague adoption countries. Of course, this Hague adoption convention countries is some sort of safeguard is there because India has ratified. And if you are ratified, that means you are, by the constitution of our country, you have to follow it, and the legislation has to be framed accordingly. So that whatever has been ratified has to be implemented. That is why our additional regulations 2022 has been framed in such manner. Reframed, I would rather say, to get it in at par with the additional convention ratification. Then the PAC shall furnish an undertaking to the effect that they shall allow personal visits of the representatives of the concerned agencies to ascertain the progress of the child with the adoptive parents or family. Now, whoever comes to visit, you know what's happening, that Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway, those are biological parents. What can happen to adoptive parents? God knows. The social services, it's happening in Germany, one is going on now, right now. Across the parties in parliament, they have signed that give it back, at least send the child back to India If you do not want to give back the child to the parents, adoptive parents, not in German, in this thing that child should not be brought up. That is where my concern is coming. Who are the child care services centers out there? I am going to fight on this, I am telling you. So ascertain the progress of the child with adoptive parents for at least for a period of 2 years from the date of arrival. Now we have come to the another category. What is the other category? It is the OCI foreign PAPs of Hague Adoption Commission notified countries living in India. These categories living in India. What happens? The next will be Indian PAPs, Indian citizens, Indian PAPs living abroad. What is going to happen? And then Indian citizen wants to get a child from abroad. Means child who is not an Indian, non-Indian child. So let us try and get through this. Then the HAMA comes after this. No, after that we do the relative adoption in country, inter-country. We do the step parent and then HAMA. I don't know how much we will survive. We ourselves will survive till lunch. So adoption by OCI cardholder or foreign national living in India. They shall apply online. They will not go through any agency. That I had told in the beginning. Whoever lives in India will apply online. And with that, this is the addition. NOC shall come from the embassy or High Commission for adoption by uploading on designated portal. This is there. On receipt of the documents, CARA shall refer the case to SA or DCPU for preparing the HSR. In this schedule, we shall be uploaded. So, this will go accordingly, right? Then the HSR is done. PAP shall receive one of the referred child within 48 hours and accept a child by signing all these things within 30 days. PAP may visit the child and pre-adoption foster care will fall into place. Then the matching takes place and the pre-adoption foster care will happen. On receipt of NOC, the SA within 5 days approaches the DCPU with adoption application. In this schedule is again different. This is 29. DCPU scrutinizes the application for submission of the dossier. Like the same thing happened in inter-country. Issuance of adoption order by DM and SA and does a follow-up, and the SA does a follow-up and reports the progress of the child 6 monthly basis every 2 years for a period of 2 years. PAP to give an affidavit allowing personal visit of the representative by SA on DCPU or SARA for follow-up for a period of at least 2 years. Here also the PAP gives an affidavit that they will come and do this thing follow-up. The diplomatic mission concerned shall also ensure that the adopted child acquires citizenship of the country, diplomatic mission out in this country or representative of that country, diplomatic mission. They will ensure that the child acquires the citizenship of the country of their parents immediately after adoption decree, and a copy of the passport of the child from the country of the nationality of the PAP shall be forwarded to CARA and concerned SA, so that they are updated. What is happening to the child? Is it being clear or are you getting confused? A bit confusing. It's all silent everywhere. They shall give an undertaking stating that if they move, who shall give an undertaking? The PAP shall give an undertaking. That if they move out of India before the completion of 2 years, they shall inform CARA about it, furnishing their new address, and continue to send their post-adoption progress report to the authority for the remaining period. Adoptive period, they shall be assigned the concerned agency through which remaining post-adoption follow-up shall be sent under intimation to the Indian mission concerned, so that in case of any difficulty, disruption, resolution, the mission can provide necessary assistance. So these PAPs are moving out of India. They were in India, all these things were followed. They're moving out of India. So the CARA is told, and the Indian mission outside also comes to know out there, so that if anything goes wrong out there, they come to know, because after all, an Indian child is going there. Okay. Now, adoption by PAPs where the habitual resident are having a permanent residence of another country. Indian PAPs living abroad. As simple as that. What happens? If PAPs are habitually residing in a foreign country, they have to approach the adoption authority of the receiving country, right, for preparation of the HSR and for the online registration on the designated portal. Because they are staying out there. Indians cannot do out there. CARA cannot do. SA cannot do all those things. So over there, they will be doing the HSR and the and for online registration. In such cases, PAPs are temporarily residing. If they are residing in India, they shall approach the embassy or the High Commission of receiving country in India, allowing them to go ahead with the adoption process and start receiving information. I don't know why they have put out these things out here. If they are talking about PAPs who are staying abroad, why they are again talking about PAPs who are temporarily residing in India? They are like going forward and again coming back, going forward and coming back. It's a like a recall. Entire adoption regulations, if you read, it's type of recall. Repeatedly they are telling all these things, repeatedly. That is why they have again put out this thing out here. Okay? If one of the PAPs is a foreigner and the other is a OCI or Indian, then they will be treated as Indians living in India for considering priority in adoption placement. Fine. The adoption procedure can be carried out in accordance to Regulation 21. That is the adoption by OCI or foreign national ratified countries living in India of the adoption regulation. Like whatever I told you, the inter-country regulation, the same thing will be followed out here. As simple as that. To cut it short. Now a child from a foreign country, Indians want to adopt a child from a foreign country. Necessary formalities for adoption of a child from a foreign country by Indian shall initially be completed in that country as per their law. It will not be according to our CARA guidelines. It will be according to their guidelines. Now, on receiving the HSR of the PAPs, including the supporting documents, child study report, MER of the child, authority means CARA shall issue the approval note. Okay? CARA is sitting out here in India. So when they receive these things, they will give an approval note as required in cases of adoption of child coming to India as a receiving country. They will do that. A child adopted abroad by Indian citizen having a foreign passport and requiring an Indian visa to come here, they will need what? Shall apply for visa or OCI card holder to Indian missionary in that country concerned, who may issue entry visa to the child after checking all the relevant documents so as to ensure that the adoption has been done thoroughly. So the immigration clearance will be given by the Ministry of Home out here when the child comes here, because Indian citizens are taking a child out here. Okay? I know it is a very complicated process. It's not an easy process. Now, in-country, inter-country relative adoptions. Yes. Yeah. No, not required, because that is why the linkages has been done. Totally the home studies. Basically what we do a child study report, a home study report, and a family background report. Family background report is usually done for relative adoption and for step parent. For rest of the adoptions, OAS is done home study report, child study report. And if you think very clearly, they have just complicated the matter. The child is in India, it is done here. The parents are abroad, it is done there. Child is abroad, it will be done there. Parents are in India, it will be done here. And exchange of information will take place. Both the authorities on both the sides, this side the CARA and that side the AFA, the Central Authority for Hague countries, the Indian Mission and Government Department concerned for non-Hague countries. They will go through and see the documents are correct or not and they are eligible or not. It's that simple, I'm telling you. Right. It is just a question of immigration. The birth certificate will be issued, now if the child belongs to that country, it will be issued from there. The child belongs to that country. It has to be issued from there. But the parents are Indian. Sorry, I am wrong. It will be issued here. He is very right. It's my mistake. It will be issued from here. Yes. I am getting confused. And you have to give me that leeway. Because for this thing, because as a SARA member, believe me, I didn't get into this intricacies, this thing. And sir rang me up and told me that Honorable Chief Justice has appointed me for this task. I said, my God, I knew I have to get down to the process and I knew I had to get down to this. So in spite of slogging for more than 20 days, in spite of that, I'm getting, sometimes I'm like, I got a bit of this thing confused right now. But he is very right. because the child will be staying in India and will be studying out here, the parents are Indians out here, so the child will be taking this thing of the Indian parents out here, right? So everything will be distributed by India, right? So the immigration happens, yes, do this thing. Thank you. So now we get into in-country and inter-country relative adoption. Over here the process, let me tell you, it is the consent. That they are going to complicate the matter later on, it will get complicated later on. It is just the process is the consent of the biological parents and the adoptive parents, I mean the relative parents who are taking for adoption, PAPs. These two consents will be taken, clear? By the CWC concern, done in the proper schedule. And then what happens? The consent of the child will be taken, older child, if the child is above this thing, the 5 years old. And counseling will be done. Pre-adoption counseling will be done, like it's done there also, pre-adoption counseling, after adoption counseling will be done. But this is it. But you see how they go about it now. And then DM plays a very big role out here, doing the verification. Plays a very big role. DM does the verification. So, in-country relative adoption, what happens? Sorry, it has come now. Let us start here. Online registration in the designated portal with required documents in Schedule 6. First, online registration. Next, consent of biological parents or permission of CWC as per Schedule, this is 19, consent for the purpose of relative adoption, or Schedule 22, permission of CWC to the consent given by the guardian of the child for adoption by their relative where the biological parents are not alive or are not able to give consent. Basically it is surrendering, isn't it, if you think about it. It's a type of surrender. So, one is Schedule 19 and this is Schedule 22. Over here, the consent for purpose, the biological parents are giving the consent, and over here, if the biological parents are not there, then the guardian of the child is giving consent. But they have to be the legal guardian of the child, mind you. Okay? Consent of the child 5 years and above will be taken after this. Now, affidavit of the adoptive parents is required in support of the financial and social status. This is a bit different. Now the difference is coming in 29. Okay? Sara refers the case to Kara for necessary approval following the pre-approval certificate issued by Sara in Schedule 25. So many steps are there. Number of steps, number of schedules are there. It's not easy, this process. So Sara takes approval from Kara and then they give a pre-approval certificate. DCPO after scrutiny shall file the application for adoption in Schedule 30, right, before the DM with all requisite documents. What are the documents? In Schedule 6 and Schedule 9. This is common. Schedule 6 and Schedule 9, these documents are common, coming from top. But Schedule 30 is that model application form that they file before the DM in country relative adoption. Okay, clear till now? The DCPO obtains then the adoption, the hearing takes place, and then the DCPO obtains a certified copy of adoption order from the DM concerned and furnish a copy online to Kara and the adoptive parents through the designated portal. Is it clear? Shall I proceed further? Okay. Inter-country relative adoption. What happens? NRI or the OCI card holder interested to adopt a relative's child, no foreigner is coming into this, may approach AFA or central authority in the country of residence for preparing the home study report. Again we are going back to that. For online registration on the designated portal. So they tell them, come and do my HSR and put up my listing for registration. They have to go through. In absence of the aforesaid, that means it's a non-Hague country, it will go to government department concerned or Indian diplomatic mission. Indian diplomatic mission, they are talking that Indian citizen or OCI card holder they will apply in the Indian diplomatic mission and not in the government concern. Okay. Now, these agencies on completion of the home study report, they shall register the application of the PAP on the designated portal and the required document in Schedule 6. This I am repeating. What are the required documents? Schedule 6, because this is very important. It's a point of recall. Now, what is the procedure for inter-country relative adoption from the authority? Authority, that means Kara, what do they do when they receive all these things? On receipt of the HSR by the authority, that is Kara, they shall forward the same to SARA or DCPO for obtaining family background report of the child proposed for adoption and biological family. So over here we see we need two types of report. One is the person who wants the child, right? The PAPs. We are getting an HSR done by the foreign agencies, done, and they send it to Kara. Then the Kara will send it to the SARA and DCPO and tell them, now you do the biological parents and the child's family background report. Is it clear? This is clear? Two things we are talking about, along with supportive documents. Again they are talking about documents. It will not be only the study. All of them will have supportive documents. And what are the documents? In Schedule 6. All the documents are given in Schedule 6. Social worker of the DCP conducts the inquiry in Schedule 21. They do the inquiry. It is the family background report. They do it in Schedule 21. There are two family background reports. One the DM does and once the DCPO and the SARA and the DCPO does. There are two background reports. One is in 21, the other one will come to that. The DCPO through SARA forwards this report to Kara and then to AFA and to rest of them. It goes abroad again. Right? So all the reports has been done. After receiving this, what do? They will forward a certificate to the Kara. They go through again. This side and that side, whatever report has come, they go through. They forward a certificate to Kara. These are the Hague countries. Non-Hague countries will issue a recommendation letter to Kara. This is the difference. Always remember this. Whenever it comes to inter-country, it is Hague and non-Hague. Hague will be giving certificate, non-Hague will be giving recommendation letter. Okay? After receiving the certificate from the agencies, the NOC will be given in favor of adoption to the child within 10 days. So many process. Imagine how carefully they are going. And a copy of the same shall be forwarded to the AFA or the central authority, NOC. The PAP shall find the adoption application now with the DM concerned in Schedule 31. In this it is inter-country, it will go in Schedule 31. Okay? I am going to give you all these notes. So I am also not trying to remember, you also don't try to remember. Absolutely is wastage of time, I am telling you. Because it is so complicated, just remember the main issue. HSR, this side of the home study report of this person who wants to, or the family who wants to PAPS, who wants to take the relative child, and this side the biological family background report and the child's report. This is what you have to remember first. And then the process, how it goes on. And all the documents are correct or not. Now you see what happens. Oh, just a minute. Along with the NOC, okay, fine. Now adoption by step parent. The couple, the step parent and one biological parent, they will register on the designated portal. Online registration form and list of documents to be uploaded. Okay. Consent now. Consent of the biological parent and the step parent in Schedule 22 will be taken. Consent has to be taken. This side and that side both, for adoption by biological parent and step parent. In case the custody of the child is under litigation, you know, nothing will go forward until and unless finalization of the case has been done by the court. Right? They will not step into the matter. The step parent or the couple shall receive due verification by the DCPO. I was talking about DCPO will give a verification, remember? The DCPO verification certificate will be given by another schedule. Right? The biological parent and the state parent shall file an application with the DM of the district through DCPU. Now they are talking two things in this, I'm telling you today. In one place they are saying in state parent adoption they will directly file with the DM. In just after 2 points they have said they will file with the DCPU. And then after the adoption order comes, in one place it has told the DCPU through the designated portal will put it up in the website and give it to the adoptive parents. And the other side they have said that the adoptive parents will give it to the DCPU. They will put it up in the portal and through them it will go to the DCPU. I think we should stick to DCPU. If it is DCPU, let us stick to DCPU. Let us not go through PAPs. Let DCPU handle the matter. Otherwise again a hodgepodge situation will come. Okay, this is the fourth point that the Kara has to clarify. Somebody is making a note because I will get confused. Are you making a note? This is one important part. The Kara has to clarify. Make up your mind. Will PAP apply directly in state parent or go through DCPU? They have to this thing through when they are applying for adoption with DM. Okay. So along with requisite documents as provided in Schedule 6 and Schedule 9 after due verification from DCPU and approval by SARA. So DM has to go through all these things. The DCPU shall obtain a certified copy. I have put DCPU out here. I just bypassed the PAP thing. I thought while talking I am going to tell it to you. From order from the DM concerned and furnish a copy of the same online to the authority and active parents. In case of inter-country adoption by state parent, the process has to be followed as outlined in inter-country relative adoption and requisite consent form has to be signed by CWC as provided in Schedule 20 and family background report of the child and biological. I was talking about this, remember, Schedule 21. This just now I was talking about this, right? Is it clear? Shall I go forward? Now, the DM part comes. I know you want to just get this over now. The DM part is coming now. Before issuing an adoption order, the DM shall, this is the topping on the cake, cherry on the cake they say, this is the topping. Before issuing an adoption order, that means any adoption order, right? The DM shall satisfy itself of the various conditions stipulated under section 61 of the Act. 61 of the JJ Act. Act means Juvenile Justice Act. Now regulations 54. I was talking about in-country relative adoptions. I have spoken about it. 55. Adoption by state parent. I have spoken about it. 56. Inter-country relative adoptions. I have spoken about it. 57. Procedure for inter-country relative adoptions from the authority. That means outside. Kara. Now wait. Okay. Procedure for inter-country relative adoption from authority means from Kara as the case may be. So basically district magistrate has to go through the entire dossier that comes to you. In one sentence, don't get confused. In one sentence, whatever comes in front of you, now that you have attended this thing, I am sure something or the other must have registered. The emergency, the urgency of going through the documents has registered in you. But why they are important? So I am sure with the kind of background that the district collectors come from, with all humbleness I would say, because I have interacted with few of them, they have the acumen, the intelligence of catching on. If something somewhere is supposed to be done, again they will tell it. Once they go through, the ADM can go through, then it can come to the DM. ADM can just highlight the portion that he or she has doubts, it will come to DM. But all this sieving process, please, we should not overlook. The child will get into trouble. Okay? The PAP shall obtain a certified copy of the adoption order from the DM and furnish. This is what I didn't want. I didn't know. I added on afterward. I will furnish a copy of the same to the DCPU for the online submission. This is the query. I have a query on this. Two things they have spoken about. So for in-country, inter-country relative adoption, for state parent adoption, the DM has to go through the dossier given by the DCPU. all the schedules, remember, documents, schedule 6, family background report, HSR report, other listed documents, everything they have to go through. All of them they have to go through. Okay? Now, I'll finish up Hama. In 15 minutes, we'll go for lunch. Procedure for children adopted under Hama. Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act 1956 by parents who desire to relocate the child abroad. It's a good thing that they have done this linkages. Because I was looking for a very close friend of mine wanted to adopt a child, and there was a now also people say go through carings, it will be a long process. For 3 years minimum we have to wait in carings procedure. Why don't we go for Hama? Hama is just find the relative or whatever it is, get that person to go to the court, do an affidavit and pay some money, get it done. That's it. So they have not bypassed Hama, but they've got the linkages between Hama and JJF and the adoption rules. And then a SA tells me, I won't mention which SA and which state, that this thing, ma'am, come over. We have in line we have children. Which child do you want? We can take you to the hospital also. In there also they are lined up. In hospitals also, in delivery process they are lined up. And right after the delivery, you just choose and pick, a boy or a girl, whatever you want, okay? And then take the child for Hama. Such a deadly thing going on. Who knows who are taking it for Hama? Hama procedure karke, you take the child and go abroad and then do whatever you want to do with the child. You understand? So to stop that, they did the linkages. They didn't bypass it. We thought they will get the entire thing under this thing, but the personal law thing they couldn't overlook. They've got a linkage between the two. But have you got the intimation that Uniform Civil Code is going to roll out? So the public people, they've asked for, the central government has asked for all the opinion. Have you got the intimation? Not yet. Okay. All adoption cases under the Hama. So what are the things we are talking about? All adoption cases under Hama by PAP or adoptive parents residing outside the country is one. PAP means going to, and adoptive parents mean already the deed has been done under Hama. And the PAP means they are going to apply under Hama, okay, outside the country. All adoption cases pertaining to countries outside Hague Adoption Convention. What has the CARA going to do? CARA shall register applications for inter-country adoptions to be processed under Hama. Okay, they will put their nose in this. They will register applications. Then CARA will look into adoption procedure for NRI or OCI cardholder PAPs who live outside the country and meet the requirements to adopt a child from India under Hama. You must be conversant about Hama, all of you out here. Hindu parent, right? Both sides Hindu, child has to be Indian citizen Hindu. Those are the basic parameters. So if that fulfills, they can take a child from you. Okay? Now, Regulation 67, Adoption Regulation. Procedure in cases where adoption deed has already been executed under Hama before the commencement of these regulations. Before this came about. Done? In such cases, I have put it out here, I couldn't help myself, I put it out here, this schedule 35 of what the DM has to do. In such cases, the requisite documents supporting the facts of the adoption deed shall be duly verified and recommended by the DM in the format in schedule 35. Verification certificate in case of adoption concluded under Hama. Already concluded under Hama, DM has to give a verification certificate. In the morning today, I have put this slide today. Subject is verification certificate as required under regulations for inter-country adoptions under the Hama in respect of child, sex, male, female or others. Date of birth will be given. This is to certify that as per the adoption deed registered under Registration Act, the child by the name has been adopted by so and so who are habitually residing in such and such place from the biological parents or guardian so and so, resident of so and so. That means whatever the deed has been done, it is again validating it again, verifying it again. Okay, the DM. After examining the parties and the witnesses, that means there is a hearing also, concluding the following. The adoption, examining means the hearing has to be held, otherwise how the examining will be done. The adoption recorded in the deed of adoption has been made in accordance with the provisions of the Hama, including the sourcing of the child. See, that's now I was talking about from where the child has come. The eligibility and suitability of adoptive parents. Just now my concerns, that is why they have put all these things. The adopted child or biological parents are not under any duress while giving the child in adoption. Too poor selling of the child. They don't want to sell off the child, they want to sell off the child. That is usually what happens. Adoption has been concluded with mutual consent of all parties. There has been no monetary consideration involved in the adoption process, and the adoption is in the best interest of the child. I don't know how you are going to do this. This will be tough. I have verified requisite information supporting the adoption and recommended the case to Kara for necessary action. Name of the DM, office address, contact number, and the director of Kara would be having a copy of this. Copy to Director, District Registration of Birth and Death, Sara and Discipline. This is a very important document. Okay. How many DMs are out here? Are district collectors? Just the two of you. Okay. Which district? Regulation 67. Procedure in cases where the adoption deed has already been executed. That was, we are talking about before the commencement. Okay, in continuation. On receipt of the verification of document as per 35, the Kara shall comply with the provisions of Article 5 and 17 of the receiving country as provided in the Hague Adoption Convention. Upon receiving such, what is Article 5? Very briefly I have written out here. In an adoption within the scope of the convention shall take place only if the competent authorities of the receiving state have determined, competent authorities of the receiving state has determined that the PAPs are eligible and suited to adopt. 1. 2. Have ensured that the PAPs have been counselled as may be necessary. 3. Have determined that the child is or will be authorized to enter or reside permanently in that state. These are the 3 things that Article 5 has to ensure. Okay, so Kara shall comply with the provision means they have to ensure these things will happen. Article 17 is of the procedural requirements in country adoption. Any decision in the state of origin that a child should be entrusted to PAPs may only be made in the state of origin, mind you. The central authority of that state has ensured that the PAPs agree for this adoption. The central authority of the receiving state has approved that such decision where such approval is required by the law of the state or by the central authority of the state of origin. 3. The central authorities of both states have agreed that the adoption may proceed. This is important. This side Kara, this side those agencies. It has been determined in accordance with Article 5 that the PAPs are eligible and suited to adopt and the child is in or will be authorized to enter and reside permanently in the second state. So many things has been done. So these 5, you want me to add on these articles that I have written out here in this notes that I give you? That is going to help you. Article 5 and 17, because you have to fall back upon these articles, right? Upon receiving such a certificate, the Kara shall issue NOC for the Hague ratified countries, and if they are outside it for the inter-country adoption, they will give a supporting letter. NOC is always for Hague countries, and supporting letter will be given for non-Hague countries. Who is giving? Kara is giving. Okay. Now, in case these cases are initiated after the adoption regulations has come about, the following standard common procedure, it will be a common procedure, shall be applicable for all inter-country adoptions concluded under Hama. But in-country Hama, nothing has been told. All these are inter-country when you are taking the child outside. Okay, by eligible NRIs or ACIs, not foreigners, it is only NRIs or OCIs who are able to take, who are taking a child in adoption from India. Any Hindu pap habitually residing abroad who wish to adopt an Indian Hindu child born to Indian Hindu parents, these are all HAMA provisions, residing in India may contact AFA central authority in Hague ratified country, government department in the non-Hague countries as before. By now you know this. AFA central authority, this agency is concerned in their country of official business, shall sponsor, now comes the difference, shall sponsor the application of eligible and suitable PAPs to Central Adoption Resource Authority. How will they know they are eligible? How will they know they are eligible? Again HSI has to be done. So this is automatically it is coming. CARA, now what the CARA will do, once they get the sponsoring letter and other requisite, the HSR and all those things, they will give it to the from the concerned agency, they will forward it to the DCPU and the DM of the district where the child is habitually residing. Done? Then what the DM does? Now I was talking about another schedule, remember I was talking about? One was 21, I remember that, and the other is 36. This is the last one. 36 is the last schedule and 21. These are the two things. This DM will do the 36 and DCP will do the 21. So these two things are very important. Family background report will be done of the biological parent and the child. It is in detail it is given. Upon receipt of the family background report, CARA shall forward it to whom? Again it goes back to the concerned agencies abroad, okay, in their country, for issuing, and they will issue under Article 5 or 17. Again, how many see to and fro, how it is going. Now the adoption process. The parties to their adoption concluded under HAMA shall jointly proceed the deed of adoption to the sub. Now it is not finished. Now the adoption they have got the deed, right? So now what they do? I have got 4 minutes in hand. So the parties to an adoption concluded under HAMA, they shall jointly present the deed of adoption to the sub-registered office in the district with a copy to DM. Okay? So what does the DM do? The DM gets 30 days to do an inquiry. Done? If he cannot do within 30 days, that party will go to the, with that adoption deed, they will go to the sub-registered office and they will give the reason that the DM did not do, that is why I have to come here. Okay, the DM didn't do the verification. The DM shall thereafter forward the verification certificate in the format in Schedule 35 along with the checklist provided in 36 to the CARA. So the deed will be given, then the verification happens. Like both sides I am seeing, it is coming from that side, it is coming from this side also. Okay. On receipt of the verification certificate from the DM on the registered adoption deed and necessary permission of the receiving country, they will issue the NOC for the Hague ratified country and a conformity certificate. So there are two things that CARA is doing: NOC and conformity certificate. Now NOC is for the Hague ratified, conformity is also for the Hague ratified this thing. And the letter of confirmation that they said is for non-Hague countries. So let them just go about it and figure it out themselves. Sometimes I feel they themselves are confused. In case of countries outside Hague adoption, a support letter shall be issued by the support letter. Okay, fine. NOC conformity for the Hague and support letter for the non-Hague. Post-adoption follow-up in cases of disruption resolution, it will be the same. Okay? It will be the same thing. We break for lunch. Bang on time, 1 o'clock. Now what? Are you sure, all of you? This part will take time because this is post-lunch. Shall I complete?
Yes.
All of you?
Yes.
Some refreshment if can be given out here. because at least half an hour I will take, at least. Done? I will also take some refreshment. It was supposed to be distributed to all the SARs in the country, these advisories. So did you receive it from the central government? 2017, 18, 19, 20. 4 advisories are there. Very important advisories. Okay, if you have not received it, I will share the link like I was telling us here. Just download it and keep it for ready reference. Okay. So role of district magistrate over here in the adoption process, the district magistrate includes the ADM also. Right? Section 2. Which section, tell me? Is this JJ Act or Adoption Regulation Rules? What? When we say section, it always means JJ Act. And R means rules. It can be the model rules, JJ rules 2022 or Adoption Regulation Rules 2022. So there will be a lot of repetitions out here you will find in the role of district magistrates. So section 61 talks about before issuing an adoption order, the DM shall satisfy itself that adoption is for the welfare of the child. Agreed? 2. Due consideration is given to the wishes of the child having regard to the age and understanding of the child. You are talking about, somebody was asking me about consent, remember? I think you were asking. So this is given in section 61. Right? C. That neither the PAPS has given or agreed to give. This is the monetary consideration. There is no exchange of money taking place. Except what money should be permitted as adoption fees or service charges or childcare corpus, like you said 50,000 is told 50,000. The adoption proceedings shall be held in camera. Agreed? Nobody who is not associated with the case should be present out there. It should be held in camera, and the case shall be disposed of by the DM within a period of how many months? 2 months from the date of filing. Again we are repeating out here. This is Rule 45, Adoption Rules 2022-45. The procedure for obtaining an adoption order from the DM or additional DM, as the case may be, they should follow the adoption regulations. Now, DM for the purpose of an application should follow the Act and the rules. No case should remain pending in the court. What should happen to it? Now that we have got the new rules, we have got the new Act, JJ Act Amendment 2021. What are the new rules, Act and the rules saying? That procedure, the adoption procedure shall be conducted by and not the court. So all cases pending should get transferred to DM's office. The DM or the additional DM authorized by district magistrate, as the case may be, shall dispose of an application for making an adoption order within a period of 2 months. Okay? No information or adoption order issued by the DM regarding disclosing the identity of the child shall be uploaded on any portal except which portal? Carings. None? Okay. 36. Functions of DM. All cases, this I think we have already done. Now, executive functions of DM. Receive an application from SA or DCPO or relative of the family for obtaining the adoption order. So what applications they will receive, I have put it in one slide later on. Make necessary arrangements for hearing of cases after due scrutiny of documents by concerned DCPO. Who is going to do the scrutiny first? DCPO. And then it goes on to the DM. So he makes an arrangement for hearing of cases after the scrutiny, and then he himself also scrutinizes, and they were convinced why it is important for them to scrutinize also. Okay, so number of layers that you are put in as many number of layers you want to, but let not there be any disruption and resolution. Okay, maintain confidentiality about adoption cases, especially of OAS children. Issue an adoption order upon satisfying itself, the DM. In the proposed adoption, due procedure has been followed as provided under the adoption regulations, and adoption is for the welfare of the child. Done? Somebody's talking somewhere? No? All documents which I have prepared, DCPO, yes, we done that. Consent of the child is available if the age is above 5 years of age. So that is also taken care of what we were saying. The authority, that is KARA, has issues a no objection certificate in cases of inter-country adoptions in prescribed format for Hague countries, Hague Convention countries. The minutes of the adoption meeting is available in all cases of domestic adoption. Domestic means in-country adoption by the resident Indians. Again the payment thing, no exchange of money. Important to find out. Now the DMs instruct the DCPO to upload adoption order on the designated portal and preserve the adoption records in safe custody. Fine. Serve notice to any applicants in case of in-country adoption for physical appearance. So usually what happens when the in-camera proceed hearing, adoption hearing is taking place in in-country adoption, they call. They come for the adoption this thing we want in the hearing so that they can examine the PAPs and they can talk to the child also concerned. Provided that no physical presence of PAP is required in cases of inter-country. What they can do, they can give a power of attorney who the PAP gives to the SA concerned authority and they take care of the hearing, they are there. But they will do a video conferencing call, audio video call, right? Dismiss or reject an application for adoption if it does not comply with the laid down provision of adoption regulation, giving specific reasons for such dismissal through a speaking order. They can dismiss, but they have to give the reason, and this reason, if challenged later on, it will, by speaking order means the order by itself will speak. The DM doesn't have to speak and explain again. That order by itself should be good enough. Okay? Review cases of disruption resolution by DCPO, and if PAPs are found to be the cause of disruption resolution, they may be barred from adopting in future. DM has the power to do this. Notify the same to SARA and the KARA, as well as take appropriate legal action. That means if there is a POXO case, sexual abuse case, what should the DM do? They will direct the police to register an FIR, right? There can be any type of cases. No information or the adoption order or the adoption order issued by the DM regarding adoption disclosing the identity of the child shall be uploaded in any portal except the carings portal. In case of adoption completed under this Act, the DM shall ensure that all such provisions are complied therein. Fine. Siblings, they should be put together. They should see to it that they are put together. And before adoption, they were asking me, how is it possible? That is the thing. Why have they put it out here? DMs we shall try to see that the siblings are together in a single campus. How will they come to know? Tell me, any of you? How will DM will come to know what is happening in a CCI? How? You were there. Yes, you are sending the CCI is sending a report. So there is a constant churning going on, mandatory reporting going on. So DMs are in charge of the CCI. I was telling them the CCI, the SA, the SGPU, Special Juvenile Police Unit, the Juvenile Justice Board, Child Welfare Committee are all reporting to DM now. And any committees, any order somebody doesn't like, okay, they can go and appeal to the DM. They can go, CWC orders, they can go to the DM. So the DM knows what's happening. DM visits the CCI, DM talks to the children personally. Every month we have a meeting of all the bodies together, they sit and have meeting. In the meeting, who all are there? The DALSA secretary would be there, member secretary would be there, the district magistrate, additional district magistrate would be there, DCPO would be there, CWC members would be there, chairperson would be there, then the JJB principal magistrate would be there. CCI, how many CCI in a district you would be having, tell me? And SA? Few, you count on fingers. Okay, in CCI it's adjusted now. Other SARs in the other districts. So hardly you can count. So which SAR is taking care of which district when they are having meeting in that district. Every month you have a meeting where you put your heads together. There you discuss as to you have an agenda of the meeting fixed. As to your adoption cases, what's going wrong. You can discuss the cases that you have doubts. You are asking me. You can ask there. So you have other issues that the timeline is not being followed by a particular agency. The DCPO can always tell. The DCPO can always say that look, this timeline is not followed. For that you have to be aware also. You have to put the timelines also properly in a chart. What are the timelines? Please have it then. Now I think, do you like the idea or not? This I keep on telling to all the places that I visit. Have a coordination meeting. Otherwise, if you are working in isolation, you will get frustrated. Because you are seeing that everybody is chipping in, mind you, nobody is lazy out here. But what happens if you don't coordinate with each other, because this cannot be done in isolation. None of the work of the child in the JJ Act and the rules, adoption rules, can be done alone. It is a team effort, teamwork. You are seeing check and balance going on, right? So all of them have to be tied together and take the responsibility. So what, right? So district magistrate shall appoint an officer at the appropriate level in case there is no DCPO. There is no DCPO in the district, so in the adoption committee, district magistrate gives another officer. It's his jurisdiction. The DM shall refer children having health issues and suspected of special needs condition to the CMO of the district within 24 hours as soon as the information reaches him through the DCPO, through the SAR CCI. Immediately he will take charge. That means you have to take charge first and then tell it to the DM and he will take charge. CMO shall then examine the child, health status of the child and assess whether the child is having any ailment or special need within 15 days. He cannot sit on it. Time frame is given out here. Within 15 days. Or as given in the schedule, that is RPTW Act, Schedule 1018 and Adoption Regulations Schedule 3 of Part E. So the medical examination, these two parts the CMOH has to take care of. Two parts. One is the PWD Act of Schedule 18 and Schedule 3 Part E of Adoption Regulations Rule. It is this fact, I'm telling you. So we won't understand. Those are all medical terms that are given out there. They would understand. In case of adoption dissolution, the DM shall pass registration order filed by SAR through the DCPU. SAR tells the DCPU, DCPU tells the DM shall pass the order. And again same way it will come back. As per the format provided in 34. Done? Now, just follow this. Schedule, this is 23. These are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 model applications, 5 variety of model applications can be made before the DM. But the DM gives the adoption order in one application, adoption order. That is 33. That is the schedule. These are the 5 applications. One is 28 in case of orphan OAS children for in-country. 29 for in case of orphan and OAS children for inter-country. 30 for model application for in-country relative. 31 for inter-country relative, and this is for step parent. 32. It's easy. So once you start talking about it, going through it, it becomes easy. T should be given now. I can see eyes blinking all around. See, today I am sitting this side. I am also on that side also. Sometime at one point of time, when we used to wear mask, it was very easy. You look down and then you go to sleep. You're wearing a mask. I'm showing you easy way out of going to sleep. Right? But when you're not wearing a mask, it is the worst possible scenario in life. And when you sit in the front specifically, and the person is looking directly at you. So many times I have nodded off. So it's not a big deal. And you are much younger than me and much older than you, so after food is tough. You want some tea? Should we ask for some tea? Anybody here? We can say people are taking rest. If it is not too much of a trouble for my safety and security, if some hot tea can be given. Sorry. Yeah. Chocolates are there? Chew on the chocolates, that's going to help you. And the other thing I showed you, mask. So, now, Chief Medical Officer has to go through these two things I told you. Birth certificate issuing authority, who would that be? Local registrar notified under registration of births and death 1969, they are the authority. So, within 5 days, no sitting around. If they do not, the SAR goes tapping on their door. Sir, ma'am, what has happened? 5 days have gone by, and show them these regulations. Don't go barehanded, nobody is going to believe you. The one thing I have understood, because I'm a lawyer, we move by evidence. Everything has to be evidence based, specifically when you are pointing out somebody's mistake. Okay? Whoever it might be, go armed with your evidence. So I'm going to give you all the rules. When I give you the notes, I give you the rules. Just highlight it and take it to them. I just don't take my notes. Anybody can make notes. Take the adoption regulation rule, you should be having it, all of you. Highlight that portion, take it and show it to them. Still not convinced? Give a letter, mail to them. It is better you mail to them with a copy of the mail to DCPO concerned. Done? Still they don't listen. Sara, DM, ADM, go up till there, through DCPO. So they are not listening to you. The child is not going to suffer, the parents are not going to suffer because of that. So within 5 days they are going to give you. Provided no physical presence of adoptive parents shall be required for issue of such certificate. They cannot call the parents to be there, out there. This is the SAR's responsibility. 5 days plus 5 days. Remember, SARS will take 5 days to apply and 5 days for them to be. 10 days birth certificate should be ready. What should be there in the birth certificate, you remember? Name of the adoptive parents and then date of birth. Yeah. Root search. Such an important thing, because now that the adoptee, that is the children, are told. So the counseling takes place and they have to be told. Because if they hear from other sources, like we were talking, remember, that they'll get stigmatized. There were such concerns out here. So the biological parents at the time of surrender, if they have specifically requested anonymity, that means they don't want their name to come out, then nothing will come out. There will no, then the consent in writing of biological parent shall be taken by SAR or DCPO as the case may be before divulging information. So if they have said no and the root search has begun, then the DCPO goes back to them, because DCPO knows, right? Because it is a surrendered child, the deed of surrender is there, the DCPO knows. So DCPO goes back to them and asks, look, the child has come searching, what should I do? Still they say no. No. But at the time of deed of surrender, at the time of remember that they give an undertaking that yes, we would like to divulge, then there is no issue. One can divulge. But again out here they are saying above 18, adoptee can go, the child can go themselves. Below 18, the parents have to come, adoptive parents has to be there with them. Nobody else can be there. No third party will be there. You cannot divulge information. Remember this, you cannot do it. In case of denial by biological parents of our non-disability, if the DCPO goes there, they say no. The reasons and circumstances under which the information is not being made available should be disclosed to the adoptee. Fair enough. But look, not me. Rest. अच्छा आप लेके आइए. मेरा आँख तो खुला है एक्चुअली. अब दीजिए. Thank you so much. Okay, miscommunication. I hope I am not miscommunicating to this level what happened just now to all of you. It's happening correctly. Okay, or maybe it is a short way out. So please chew on your chocolates. I don't have any other. Okay. So the reason has to be given. This is the fourth. The fifth is a route search by a third party shall not be permitted, because where there is a question of, it cannot be made public, because where there is a question of right of the adoptee, adopted child, adoptee, and the right of the previously of biological parents, there the biological parents previously will come forward, because the child is already settled somewhere, taken care of. This biological parents' family will go in tatters because they have gone forward. Usually in surrendered cases, they don't want to come forward. Unwed mother has got married, has children, has settled down, has gone forward in life. Suddenly one boy or a girl comes searching and says, knock on the door and says, hey, I am your that child. What will happen to that family? What will happen to those biological children that they have? So the priority will come here. Okay? Yes.
If someone comes, like, I got this information informally from somewhere that someone had adopted a child legally. So what happened was, the child along with the adopted parents, the child is very small, maybe around 6 or 7 years old. So they came and then they knew, like, they got information that child was from somewhere. So they
Particular Sa.
Yeah, not to the Sa, but they went directly to that area and they were trying to search.
No, that's wrong. That's totally wrong. Totally wrong.
So when we come to know about those cases, what can we
You have to go to DCPU. Through DCPU, you write to the DCPU, and through DCPU to DM and Sara. Immediately. You cannot do this. Very, very wrong. This is, I never heard of such cases. Just imagine. But this can happen. Yes. Because a very small community, this happens.
Can GD be done for those kind of cases?
Defamation suit, yes. Defamation, yes. Yes.
Not taking it to that level, but just a GD.
You want to put a message through, put it properly. Put it properly, because it has been barred out here. You can cite the regulation. This is a legislation. It's a legal thing. It has been barred. You can cite Rule 47 of Adoption Regulations 2022 and GD and take it up. This message has to, when you are putting in a message, just hammer it in properly so that it goes in and it's not done again. These sort of things. And that means we need awareness. We need to build awareness now amongst the adoptive parents. And that is one point, please note it. Because this is one point that has come out of our discussion. Awareness has to be built. Yes. Now schedule 9. Documents. I told you it's important. It has to be filed in the office of BM. In country, OAS children. All PAPS related documents to be obtained by the SA in schedule 6 of the adoption regulation. In country, see how it is intertwined. You want to see this, how it is intertwined? I was talking about schedule 9, then I am suddenly talking about schedule 6. That means schedule 9 should have schedule documents of schedule 6 also. That is how they have intertwined all the schedules also. Yes, all child-related documents to be arranged by the SA. So what does the SA do? SA does all the child-related documents first. Is a CSR signed by the PAP along with recent photograph of the child. When does the PAP sign the CSR? Any of you can tell me at what juncture do they sign the CSR? And I am giving you another hint. MER. These two things, when do they sign? After the matching takes place. Lovely, very good. Yes. After the matching takes place and they agree to everything, then they sign it and then the pre-adoption foster care takes place after this. Certificate of Child Welfare Committee declaring the child legally, this should go up actually. Legally fit for adoption should be the beginning point. HSR of the PAP Yes, along with the recent family photograph done. Recognition certificate of the agency as SA. That SA, we have GSA, we have NGO RANSA. So GSA, it's okay, registration has been done. You must be having a registration number, even if it's a GSA. So that registration recognition certificate has to be given. Consent of the older child or children to be adopted is there in the form itself, in the schedule. Decision of adoption committee only in case of in-country adoption. Affidavit of the chief functionary of SA in support of adoption of the child. Pre-adoption foster care affidavit. Now number 2, part of the document. Adoption of OAS children by non-resident, non-NRIs, OCI, cardholder and foreign. Over here, all PAPS related documents are obtained by the SA from whom? They cannot directly get to it. They have to go to the agencies concerned. Right? From them they have to obtain all the HSR. Because the family don't stay in India, they stay abroad. So they have to obtain from there. As indicated in schedule, but the schedule is the same, 6. Those documents has to be obtained from the AFA, then remember Indian Mission, government concerned, central authority and all those things from the foreign country. In favor of the authorized functionary of SA to file adoption application on their behalf before the DM. Okay? They require these things. If you don't understand, tell me. All child-related documents to be arranged by the SA, what are they? For inter-country. SCSR signed by PAP with recent photograph, MER signed by PAP, Certificate of Child Welfare Committee, Recognition Certificate of Agency as SA, Consent of the older child, Affidavit of the Chief Functionary of SA, Pre-adoption care, No objection certificate in case of overseas India cardholder or foreign PAP living in India. A copy of no objection certificate from the embassy or high commission for the proposed adoption shall be required. Ulta ho gaya. If they are living in India, foreigners living in India, so concerned high commission will give the NOC. Right? Inter-country relative adoption now. The PAP shall file the adoption application along with the documents of adoption, pre-approval letter of CARA. These things I think you get it in country, okay fine. But one thing is important, the last part that I am adding out here. Infertility certificate is not required in any case of adoption. No. This is important. HSR. You must be thinking that man is telling you everything is important. Each and every word that I am saying, after that I am saying it's important. I can't help it. So, Schedule 7, HSR of Indian parent or overseas citizen cardholder or foreigner living in India. Report to be filled up by the PAP. Now, this report has to be filled up by the PAP. The HSR helps build a strong proposal for PAPs to adapt, and thereafter PAPs are expected to provide all information. So, based to their knowledge, they cannot hide facts. They cannot hide. If they have a mental issue and regularly a father is taking medicines, depression, or a mother is taking a medicine, she has a mental problem and she is taking medicines. Can she handle this child after adoption? We don't know. She might. But it cannot be hidden. So that we are also accordingly prepared and prepare the child accordingly, and we will take a call as to we will put the child there or not. You understand? So you cannot hide facts. The PAPs cannot hide. PAPs are solely responsible for the authenticity of the information that they are giving, okay, in the template. Any difficulty faced by PAP, they can always take the help of the social worker of the SA. Part 2. The template is to be filled up by the professional social worker engaged in SA or the DCPO or the SARA. This part 2 is to be filled up by them. What is it? HSR. During home study, the social worker shall assess financial, employment, health, lifestyle, home, neighborhood environments of the PAP. Imagine. Their parental styles or attitude towards parenting. I hope the social worker, they are trained. Are they trained? If not, it is not possible for them. We cannot go and make. Maybe you are trained. I am not trained in this field. Motivation for adoption. Why they want to adopt. commitment towards adoption and their overall readiness come maturity to adoption.
The other parents who know that they have adopted a child, they wouldn't want to make it public. So these issues
The
are.
child will know,
The child will know,
but child will also keep it a secret.
it's up to them, but what we always tell them is they have to tell the child that the child is adopted. They tell the child is there. But maybe they don't want to make it public to the general public. So that is their wish, which we want.
I know. You have to, uphold it. Yes. But tell me what is the solution? But this interaction is so important. What do you do? Yours is a GISA? Your side is a GISA? It's an endurance. Okay. But counseling, always you know the nuances of what's happening with the older adoptees and adoptive parents. They will be the, but what you can do, you can sit with them and find out the problem areas. That you can do. Why don't you switch on your mic, others can hear also.
What an issue which we faced earlier was we used to put up few pictures of adopted parents with their child in our SAP. So most of the children, those who go for adoption, they are adopted from West Bengal parents they come for adoption. So this particular PAP they came to our agency and then they saw some picture there. She went there and later on they knew one PAP, they knew the other PAP who had already taken a child from our agency. So once they got back to Calcutta, they spoke about it among their friend circle. And that was a big issue because the other parent, they called me up and then they said our confidentiality is breached. And I said yes, it happened. So from that day onwards, we have put down all the photographs and we don't have any photographs of any parents on our walls.
I'll just take it down. I'll note it. Can you just note it down for me, this issue? Just give it to me. Because I will find out what's happening in our SARS,
So
But we have a huge get together, all parents come there. Huge SARA program we have, lots of parents come. Because West Bengal is very, because Sikkim is very small.
small and
Concentrated, all of them are together. Everybody knows everybody out here. West Bengal, that's not an issue.
they don't even want to give their success story. They don't even want to give stories about their adoption. Very few parents are motivated. Even if you want to keep their names, hidden, we don't want to disclose their names. But still they say we don't want to give it. So we couldn't give much stories from Sikkim.
So just put down this issue and give it to me. Okay? Just put it down. So have you met with any adoptive families or children who were adopted? If yes, how was the experience? Over here it will be a no then. Are there any areas where you may need counseling or professional help in supporting the child you wish to adopt? Please describe how the adoption shall affect the other members residing with you. Okay. In case of foreign citizenship, it is mandatory to mention details and attach a copy of the passport. In such cases, the NOC from the diplomatic mission in India shall be required. This is important. Okay. Searching for a pen? You got a pen? Preparation and training for adoption. Give details about pre-adoption counseling sessions or training or experiences related to childcare, handling of needs of children, parenting children having special needs if any. We have amongst us a lady who is you, right? About special needs. Who is she? She was here. She is a principal of a school of special needs. She is not here anymore. She is wearing green something, I think. She has left, that means. So that would have helped a lot, you can note this if you want to. She can, or her contemporaries or her students of our school, they can help as to spread awareness as to how to counsel, what all areas to see, because basically we are dealing with adult psychology and child psychology out here. So that would help a lot. Put a tick, understanding about the adoption procedure, reading of reference materials, learning from friends or relatives, interaction with adoptive parent groups. Your good name, please? Zeba. Zeba, you are talking about, I was talking about this. Remember number 4, if you see, interaction with adopted parents groups. It's there in the this thing, list of documents. Sorry, home study. Learning through counseling from professional. Video modules on adoption. Home study continues part 2. There the social worker fills up. Psychosocial assessment, interaction with PAPs. Have you interacted with the PAP individually or jointly? This is for all of you. Are the PAPs well prepared for adoption? How do you decide well preparedness? Nothing is out here given. So that is the point. How do you decide a PAP is well prepared? In case of single PAPs, please mention about family support system. Do you think that PAPs have expressed their genuine feeling for parenting? How do you decide this? These are all relative terms. Do you want to refer the PAP for further counseling for their preparedness? Yes or no? Please put a yes out here, always. You have as many counseling sessions as possible. Physical and emotional capacity. Are the PAPs in a good physical and emotional state? Have you observed any physical or psychological issues with the PAPs or any other family member? So you have to be very, very conversant with psychology. Otherwise you won't be able to do this. The social workers. SARA social worker, DCPO social worker. Provide details of number of rooms in the house and if there is adequate space for a child to be supported. Are the PAPs emotionally equipped enough to take care of a child? There might be 10 rooms out there. PAPs are busy, golfing, playing, having business, this thing, parties. No time for the child. Will that help? PAPs might have only 2 rooms, but extremely efficient and good PAPs. So these are all relative terms. Views and readiness of the PAPs for the root search. I think we have already done that. Recommendation for adoption. Do you recommend this PAP? Okay, fine. Now I am coming to CARA advisory. 2 more slides to go. After that we are done. So open your eyes, please. All of you. CARA advisory, I will give you the link. I will share the link and the notes also. Did you receive this SARS? Did you receive this? This was meant for all the SARS. Issues related to MER. MER is Medical Examination Report. Matching process and disruption. Remember I had told that after they come to visit the child in the SAR, they see that the medical report is not good enough. Little more had to be done. So if there is a laxity on the part of the SAR and the PAPs have spent money travelling and the medical expenses, it will be reimbursed by the SAR. This is advising. It is true. Since integration of older children with identifying often takes more time, all SARs needs to make more effort in ensuring bonding of older children with adoptive parents. In this regard, all SARs are required to allow meeting of the child over 3 years of age, at least 2 times before the acceptance of the child. Meet, let them meet. Again, seeing the best interest of the child. Always that in mind. In case of disruptions, they will ensure minimum 2 counseling sessions, but like I said before, best interest of the child will always be prime consideration. You see any inkling of abuse going on, negligence is also abuse. Remove the child from there. Keep the child separately, then do the counseling. Okay, that depends on your discretion, the SAR's discretion, how they move. You can always discuss it with the DCPO, with the SARA functionaries, with the DM concerned if you want to, ADM concerned if you want to, before taking any major step. Then 2018 guideline, HSR for adoption and counseling. This is very important because they have given a format. It's not a question and answer session but a 2-way process of information sharing. Home study is also an opportunity of SAR to assess the suitability and readiness of PAP. Through discussions, the goal is to help PAP achieve emotional readiness. Challenge of HSR is to go beyond factual information and understand what is visible during assessment. Body language is also important. There should be more than 1 home visit. How many home visits do you do during HSR? More than that. Whatever you need to. So it should not be that just finishing it off as a job. This is an important responsibility. Social worker has to maintain a child-centered view all the time. The home study is about the needs of the child and not the needs of the parents. This is so important and it has come in the advisory. Reporting format has been given. 2018, did you receive this format? Any disruption, any return of the child in the pre-adoption foster care, a format has been given by CARA. The SA has to fill up that format as to why it has happened. Then SA will compile it together and they are going to take out a dossier sort of thing as to how to fill up the gaps and the challenges. Only if you come to know, then only you are going to fill up, no? So you have to fill up this format. Please download this and fill up the format. It is important to ascertain the reason factors behind such disruption and that it will undertake necessary, like I said, necessary course of action. All SARs are directed to issue information regarding return and disruption. I was stating in the format that has been provided. It has been given already, this format. I have not put it here, but you can download it. Now, the last one, 2020. Immediate placement category children. There are a lot of disruptions happening out there. So what is CARA advisory telling you? The older children have to be prepared for adoption and they have to be counseled by the social workers, counselors, professionals before being made available for adoption. Before the referral is given by SA, please counsel them before they are made available. Through immediate placement category or through normal referral. The counselling has to be done. Pre-adoption counselling we say, that has to be done. The PAPs also have to be counselled thoroughly. Ideally more than one home visit, more than 2 counselling sessions may be provided to PAP and who wants to adopt older children. PAP should be made aware of all issues they may face while adopting older children, ways to deal with them. There would be adoption committee. About adoption committee they are saying more diligence should be given, greater diligence should be given when they are matching older children with the category of PAP. They have given a very good example out here. They are talking about the PAP's preparedness and motivation. So the examples that they are given here, if a PAP, while giving the referral, they are giving their own choice, for their choice, they give a younger child below 2 years. But while the referral goes, they apply for a child who is more than 2 years, maybe more than 8 years. I am telling you an example. So immediately, the antennas and all should, this thing of adoption committee should be alerted as to why. They actually wanted a younger child. Kuch nahi mila, so they are taking an older child. So how will they behave with this child? That means they are not prepared for taking an older child. You understand? That's the example they are given. Now they should be allowed to interact, the PAPs, and spend more time, at least 3 days before the child, with the child before taking the child in pre-adoption foster care. This is not given in the regulations. At least 3 days interaction should happen, but keeping the best interest of the child and securing the safety and security of the child. Okay. SARA may instruct the CCI and link SARs as well as DCPU to find families locally for older children. Locally, all the SARs, locally for older children. So that in Sikkim there is a notification, I think the COI has to be given 2015. So that can mildly, I am telling you, or broadly this can take care of. In the SARs, what is the full form of COI? I forgot. Certificate of Identification. Yes. It's very complicated. I told director sir, I requested him that let them unfold the complication, not us. They have complicated it. So let the government of Sikkim and the central government, let them work it out. How it can be introduced, or it can be this thing, what do you say? It should not happen, I think. Because anyways they are telling about Indian, remember the general principles, Indian citizen first priority and the social cultural environment should be retained, that has been told. So when the SAR placement is doing, okay, I am from Kolkata, I would like to see the child is from nearby state or from West Bengal, where the social cultural rice eaters, we are all rice eaters. Take a child from the Punjab and throw the child out here. ऐसे ही मैं बोल रही हूँ, maybe an older child. The child will not be able to adjust. It will be difficult for the child to adjust. So these things are considerations that has to be taken. See, suddenly the thank you came upon. So, thank you for bearing